in about 1 minute. And, of course, I'm going to cover today how great the trial was yesterday in New York for President Trump. President Trump just had a huge victory yesterday. And also what is in the thumbnail and the titles I'm going to start with about the massive support that Donald Trump has gained among blacks, which is he's got more support among blacks than any Republican since, like, you know, Eisenhower probably. All right. Eisenhower. Here we go. Just move the camera a little bit. Welcome. All right, here we go.
On the air since 1977, it's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
It sure is. Welcome, everyone. It is Wednesday, April 24th. Can you believe it already? 2024. My name is Brian Craig. You are listening to Florida's longest-running radio show, the Steve Kane Show. And we got a lot to cover. President Trump had a great day in this crooked courtroom yesterday. The prosecution's first witness from the National Enquirer totally cleared Trump of any wrongdoing. I'm going to go through that in detail in a few minutes. It was a great day in court if you're Trump MAGA and support justice. Now, if you're one of these Trump derangement syndrome sufferers, you might have a stroke today. But I'm going to detail that and go through everything that happened in the courtroom. But I saw something that was pretty amazing. And it's a new poll that the mainstream media won't share with you. And it comes from a liberal source. And I love using things from liberal sources because the Trump haters can't discount it and say, oh, that's Breitbart or, you know, whatever. This is from the New York Times. All the misinformation that's fit to print. This is from the New York Times that hates Trump like the plague. Listen to this. Donald Trump's support among black voters has grown by nearly 500% in the last 4 years, a new poll is found. Now, this is a New York Times poll, and this is huge. This is huge. And this has a massive impact on congressional races throughout the country, in particular in the House, as well as governors and state offices and local offices, because people that are going to vote Trump are probably going to vote Republican down the line in most instances. So 500% increase of black support for President Trump. That's astounding. According to a New York Times Siena poll, President Trump's support among black voters is now at 23%. Making a 19% point increase since the same poll in October 2020. The turnaround in opinion among one of the Democrats' most reliable voting blocs, blacks, is a worrying sign for Joe Biden's re-election prospects. He secured 92% of the black vote in 2020, the highest of any minority group in the country, but growing disillusionment with Biden's first term, concerns about his age as well, threaten to undermine the Democrats' strong relationship with black voters. I would say all that's true, but a lot of it has to do with this lawfare that's going on. You know, the black community is well aware of how corrupt the legal system has been in their community by Democrats, too, in the legal system, and they don't like it. But, I mean, and for this poll to show that Donald Trump's support among blacks has grown 500% to come from the New York Times, that's just amazing. Biden largely held on to the black vote during the 22 midterms, but young black voters have moved a notable 22 percentage points towards Republicans. Inflation, a top issue for black voters, is a big one. Food, gas prices, rent prices are stubbornly high, which may encourage some blacks to not even vote in November. So this is an amazing thing. So what The New York Times, a lot of wishful thinking. I mean, they must be physically ill reporting this story at the New York Times. But what the New York Times is saying here is, well, they may not be able to get themselves to go out and actually vote for Trump, but they'll stay home. And staying home, well, that's voting for Trump too. In case you didn't know, absolutely. It goes on and on. And I mean, I'm not, the Republican nominee, Donald Trump, is now leading in all 7 swing states. That's amazing. President Trump is leading in all of the battleground states right now. And he won Pennsylvania last night. He's leading in, and leading in the battleground states, this is huge. Because for the most part, I know most of you probably know this, but for those that don't, battleground states are sometimes called swing states, sometimes called toss-up states. And what that means is, most of the country is already decided, right? It's assumed. Things may be a little different this time, like in New York. But a lot of states are like California. It's just assumed they're going to go Democrat or Republican. The battleground swing state toss-up states can go either way. Florida used to be one. Now we're strongly Republican. So there's fewer swing states than there used to be. But President Trump is leading Biden in all of the swing, toss-up, battleground states. And it's going to continue to get really bad for them. After the first break, I'm going to go through the details of what happened in this courtroom in New York. The prosecution's first witness, the guy from the National Enquirer, came up yesterday. And this was supposed to be like a star witness. Oh, this was going to bring Trump down. They released this witness list a couple weeks ago. And, the first will be his former friend, and he's going to detail. The prosecution's first witness gave a lot of details, all of it clearing President Trump of any wrongdoing, and not just President Trump, but everyone in his orbit. In fact, it was like a witness for the defense yesterday, not the prosecution. So the first day opening arguments fell flat for the prosecution. Day 2, the prosecution brought up their first witness. That fell apart. This case is the weakest case. When I go through what happened with the prosecution's first witness yesterday, you're going to be like, wow, what? Yeah. I don't even know why they brought the guy to the stand. They knew what he was going to say. Maybe they're so far gone in their Trump derangement syndrome suffering, they can't hear the truth. Now, Joy Reid, yesterday I shared with you, Rachel Maddow was in the courtroom for NBC News, and she gave no legal analysis. She just told you about the wall decor and stuff, right? Joy Reid, who's also an Ivy League, she went to Harvard or Yale, one of them. Joy Reid was in the courtroom yesterday, and this is her coming out of the courtroom, giving her analysis of what went down yesterday. Joy Reid, she's wearing the blonde Trump wig, and she just came out of the courtroom, and she's live on the air on MSNBC, and she's giving her analysis of what happened. Listen.
It was interesting being in court, and I started off in the overflow. So I was team overflow at first, and then did move in, thanks to wonderful Lisa Rubin, let me move into the main room. My impressions of Donald Trump, really being in the room with him, he's definitely bigger than you expect.
He's bigger than you expected. No legal analysis. He's bigger than you expected. All these years of bashing Trump, she's never seen him with her own eyes in person. And, this is an interesting thing with Joy Reid, what's happened here. See, Joy Reid, for the very first time, was in a room with Donald Trump, and he's nothing like she expected, bigger and taller. But where's her analysis of the legal proceedings?
It was interesting being in court, and I started off in the overflow. So I was team overflow at first, and then did move in, thanks to wonderful Lisa Rubin, let me move into the main room. My impressions of Donald Trump, really being in the room with him, he's definitely bigger than you expect. He's taller than you expect, but he's more drawn. He kind of shuffled past. He has a sort of perma scowl on his face. He definitely looked like he was paying attention this time. There was no sort of seeming to nod off or snooze, nothing like that.
See, the reason that he didn't seem to snooze off or snooze is because he never has snoozed. He never dozed off. That was fake news reporting. So she's in there. She had in her mind that he was this tiny little guy. He's huge.
But definitely the energy between him and his main lawyer, Todd Blanche, was very kind of frenetic. And he didn't seem all that pleased with Blanche's performance, nor did the judge, I will add. So it was an interesting day. I think that they got a lot out of today.
Oh, see, I mean, there's no legal analysis. Very superficial. And, you know, you're not, if you've noticed, you're not getting much legal analysis from the media of what's going on in the courtroom. And the reason that is, as you will hear when I go through what happened with the Inquirer guy, it's going so well for Trump. The prosecution not only have less than zero evidence, their first witness just completely exonerated President Trump. So they don't want to have their legal analyst analyze it and say to their viewers, well, it was a great day for Trump again. Their star witness yesterday from the Inquirer backed up Trump's story. They don't want to report it. So they send Joy Reid in to report on fashion. They send in Rachel Maddow to talk about room decor. This trial is not going anything like any of them planned. Now, if you're on hold, stand by. We're going to take our first break of the day. Our number is toll-free, 1-888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. We'll be back.
Don't sit on the sidelines. Call the Steve Kane Show live on air now. 888-GO-KANE-1. This is the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
Are you exhausted after work with no energy left in the tank to give your family? Are you having a midday fast on a daily basis?
Got to tie my shoe, guys. Actually, got to tie both of them. What's going on here? Oh, what a great day. What a great day in court yesterday for America. I've never seen a prosecution in a high-profile case do as poorly as this crew is doing. Well, thanks, Jack. Yes, please like, share, and subscribe.
96.9 FM.
All right, welcome back, one and all. I'm Brian. This is the Steve Kane Show. Now, of course, Steve and I are leaving on our listener cruise, our 5th annual MAGA cruise, Saturday. And I know a lot of you are going to be there, and I'm really looking forward to it. We're going to have a great time. And if you're going, make sure you check in with Ian from Cruise and Travel Depot. We're having a sail-away party. We like to meet somewhere on deck in a nice area and hang out together as we leave the port. And Port Everglades, when you leave, you're right out there off Fort Lauderdale Beach. It's beautiful, and it's always a great time. So make sure you touch base with Ian, those of you going with us on the cruise, so you know the location of the sail-away party. I don't remember where it is. There's so much planning that goes involved. I forget. But call Ian. Now, I want to tell you guys, this cruise booked up months ago. We've never had that happen before that early. We haven't been able to book anyone new on this cruise in months, and I know. And because of that, we had people already book on our next cruise, which is next year on the Celebrity Ascent. So if you were unable to make it on this one, or you'd like to go on the next one, call Ian at Cruise and Travel Depot. I'm going to give you his number in a moment. If you call and make your reservation now, you just have to put down a tiny deposit, and you get to lock in a great price, because it's so early. I'm not sure where we're going. I'd forgotten, and I don't know the dates, but it's next year, and it's on the Celebrity Ascent, which is Celebrity's newest ship. And I'm going to give you Ian's number. And by the way, on this cruise this week, we have the most famous ship captain in the world, Captain Kate, who was the first female first woman to captain an American cruise ship. And an American, it's true, yeah, and she's very famous. She's like movie star famous, and she's really cool too, right? She's not like, she doesn't look like these Democrat women. She looks really cool and everything, you know what I mean? But Captain Kate is our captain, who I've been wanting to meet on our last few cruises, and we've never been on the same ship with her. So we got the most famous ship captain in the world today, Captain Kate, and you guys can look her up. Anyway, call in at Cruise and Travel Depot. Join us on the next cruise. 561-244-5779 is Ian's number. 561-244-5779. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, Brian. This is Roz. How are you?
Hey, Roz.
A couple things that I want to hit over. First of all, I'm glad that the blacks are changing for President Trump. I live in Illinois, so it's all Democrats.
The land of Lincoln. The land of Lincoln is all Democrat. Lincoln would be disgusted by Illinois.
Oh, I am disgusted, and I hope that Illinois changes over to Trump. I've been praying about that. But number one, this is a clown show, okay? Rachel Maddow, they probably keep her on the air because she's a lesbian, and they got to have so many people.
Yeah.
Two, with this other lunatic that wears the wig, she's an idiot.
Oh, Joy Reid. Joy Reid, yeah.
They're both idiots, and they have nothing to say. What kind of reporter's going to walk in and talk about what the walls look like, or President Trump looks bigger? They have nothing.
Well, you're right. In a few minutes, I'm going to go through the details of everything legally that happened in the courtroom yesterday. They're not doing that because the prosecution's making the defense's case for them. Trump's getting cleared all the time, so they don't want to do that. Now, so far as Joy Reid, when she says President Trump is bigger than she thought, notice she didn't say fat or obese. She said he's a big guy. Part of that Trump derangement syndrome is she's thinking that he's a tiny little guy like Danny DeVito, who's got a Napoleon complex. President Trump is a big guy, and he's got a big head, big teeth, and he's a big guy. The first time I was in the room with Donald Trump, I was shocked at how big the guy is, but Joy Reid, you can hear the Trump derangement, like she's in front of him. She didn't even say anything negative about him.
She's probably scared now.
Well, he's not. When she was in the room with him, he's not the man that she had stereotyped in her brain all these years.
One more thing, too. That woman that called in the other day about the bookkeeping, Trump owns a business, and I worked before for accounts payable. How it works is that you have a business and you hire somebody in accounting. And when that person submits everything, they print out payroll checks professionally, and they're put in envelopes and either passed out or mailed to the person. And when he sent in legal bill, because this Michael Cohen did his, he was his lawyer before. Now he's a convicted liar.
Mm-hmm.
And he's doing this to stay out of jail.
Yeah.
You know what I believe? I believe he's the one who had the affair, like you said, with Stormy Daniels.
Oh, yes.
And he thought, well, let me slip it in Trump's thing, because that way I'll get off with my wife. She won't find out. And later on, I could frame him if I want to.
You know, it would be interesting if the Trump team very well may have evidence of an affair with Michael Cohen and Stormy Daniels. If the Trump lawyer asks Stormy Daniels about that, have you ever had any type of sex with Michael Cohen or something like this? I'd love that question to be asked.
Yeah, but you know what? With these crooked judges, they might not let them ask that. And another good thing to ask would be, this man owns a business. He has a payroll department. Who prints off the checks? He doesn't sit at
Donald Trump has got a multi-billion-dollar international business. I'm just I have an accountant. And yesterday, after the show, my wife, she called me up about something. She said, our accountant's name is Adam. She said Adam called and he's doing something or other. And I said, what? And I said, what's he doing? She says, I don't know. And I said, well, okay. And he said he's going to bill us however much he was going to bill us. I said, okay. Neither of us know what he's doing, but we trust him. He's been our accountant for a few years, and And I'm thinking to myself, well, that's just me. Can you imagine what it's like at Trump's level?
Oh yeah. And just like I said, he's not sitting at a table with a calculator and handwriting like 50,000 checks. It's ridiculous. And what they need to do is tell them that to the jury and to the judge, that this guy does not write his own checks out. He has a payroll department.
That's correct. All right, Roz, I got to run, but I appreciate the call. All right, now we're going to take our break for the bottom of the hour. After this break, I'm going to get into the very detailed testimony from the National Enquirer guy yesterday. It was beautiful. Trump must have been grinning ear to ear in that courtroom yesterday, because the prosecution's first star witness came in and totally cleared President Trump of any wrongdoing. Not just President Trump, but everyone in his orbit, including that scumbucket, Michael Cohen. None of them did anything wrong, and the first star witness really was a defense witness yesterday in this crooked judge's courtroom. So I'm going to go through all the details of that when we get back. The number to call in is toll-free, of course, 1-888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. I'm Brian. We'll be right back. just getting everything queued up for when we get back. If you're on hold, hang in there. We will be back shortly. Most radio shows are pre-recorded. No, this is not pre-recorded, and no, we're live as can be. And talk shows like this typically are not pre-recorded. That is not true. Music radio is mostly pre-recorded these days. Wasn't always that way. But no, if someone's doing a talk show like this, it is most always live. Yeah. But I'll tell you, there's one thing though, and Glenn Beck does this, and it burns me, is a lot of these shows are scripted. Like Glenn Beck's show is scripted. Everything I do is off the top of my head. Whether it's a vlog, a live stream, the radio show, my podcast, I have no notes, nothing's scripted. But talk shows typically are not recorded. Oh, what a great day. Interesting. Interesting. All righty, we are back. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show. So the prosecution's first witness, I'm not going to say his name even though I can all the time, okay? I'm going to refer to him as the National Enquirer guy for the most part. But David Pecker took the stand yesterday, who used to run the Enquirer. And he was supposed to be the prosecution's first star witness. This is an old friend of Trump's, and he's going to bring him down. Well, this National Enquirer guy comes up there totally exonerates President Trump and anyone under the Trump umbrella, including low-life attorney, former attorney, disbarred attorney, Michael Cohen. Now, I want to go through this story. This is amazing. Donald, listen to this. Now, you've heard that story. In fact, some jerk called me yesterday about Trump fathered a child with a woman that worked at Trump Tower. Have you heard this story? All right, somebody called me on the air with one of the liberal jerks that called yesterday. Brought that up. I've heard that many times over the years. So the National Enquirer guy gets on the stand yesterday, and right out the box, this story comes up. And remember, he's a prosecution witness. Listen to this. Donald Trump offered to take a DNA test to disprove a false story that he had fathered a love child with a Trump Tower maid. And by the way, this was heard by the jury yesterday. This is the first witness. Now, if there was any chance that Donald Trump had impregnated this woman, would he offer to take a DNA test to prove her to be a liar? Of course not. Because if there was even the slightest possibility and he gave a DNA test, that's millions of dollars forever. This woman, this would be like winning the Florida lottery, even bigger, because it's, like winning the Powerball. This woman would have been set up for life. He would be paying her millions of dollars forever. And he offered to take a DNA test. Isn't that something? That's right. Former National Enquirer publisher David P. I know I could say the name in that context, but I just don't feel it's appropriate. I may say it from time to time. Former National Enquirer publisher David P., who got wind of the fake tale, this is that President Trump had fathered a child with a maid, said it would have been the magazine's biggest story since the death of Elvis Presley, had it been true. And the National Enquirer's biggest sale was the Elvis Presley funeral, because the Enquirer got the only photograph of Elvis in the casket, okay? The former National Enquirer publisher, the first witness in the case, told how the Enquirer bought a story from Trump Tower doorman for $30,000 as part of a scheme to stop damaging allegations about Trump being published. Trump shook his head and laughed as details of the story, which the former Enquirer boss said, turned out to be 1,000% untrue. Now, you may say, well, he killed the story. Why didn't he write? Well, was he supposed to write a false story? And why did he pay the $30,000 to cover a false story? There's more details I want to get into as we break this down. Well, there's a number of reasons. Maybe he just likes Trump and supports him and wanted to quash a fake negative smear. But there's another possibility too. They didn't know it was untrue when they paid for it. Then they did due diligence and found out it was, and they didn't want to go to press with a fake story. And there's also another possibility that they buy up these fake stories like this so no one else can print them. They've got exclusive rights to the doorman to do a favor to Trump so that they can get exclusive access at a later date. The press does this all the time. Politicians contact media people all the time. I get contacted all the time by elected officials and people running for office. I get text messages, phone calls, and emails for people that hold government offices. I have for years. Even this week, I've heard from people that hold office, work for people who do, or are running for office. This is very normal, and I'm not at that level. The court also heard how the Enquirer alerted Trump to allegations of an affair by Playboy model Karen McDougal. Now, I want to remind you guys, Karen McDougal targeted Trump. In one of her interviews, she did a couple of big interviews. I can't remember which one it was, but she only did a couple big ones. You guys can go and watch this. She was a Playboy playmate, right? And the Celebrity Apprentice no, it was the regular. It wasn't the Celebrity Apprentice. It was the regular Apprentice. The Apprentice did an episode at the Playboy Mansion. I remember that episode. I don't remember if it was regular or Celebrity or who was there, but I remember that episode because I never missed The Apprentice. I wish they would rerun it. I love that show. I used to look forward to it every week. It aired. If I want to, did it air on Sunday nights? I don't remember. Remember, President Trump? He would drive out to the helicopter pad and take off, and Melania would be there, and Barron, who was like 2 years old, 3 years old, would wave goodbye to Daddy in the helicopter. It was so cool. I missed that show. And I remember the Playboy Mansion episode. And Karen McDougal, who Steve and I have a connection to, somebody we know, when Karen McDougal first came forward, Steve and I know them, but they are extended family to someone Steve and I were friends with who's passed away. We weren't really friends with this guy. We were friends with this guy and his family. And when the Karen McDougal thing happened, he went and told everybody he knew her. And knowing this guy, I'm wondering how he knew her, if you know what I mean. But anyway, in this interview that Karen McDougal gave, she said she heard The Apprentice was coming to the Playboy Mansion, and she called and requested to be there. She wanted to be there for that. So she targeted Trump. Anyway, back to this. The court heard how the tabloid, The Inquirer, alerted Trump to allegations of an affair by Playboy model Karen McDougal. In wide-ranging testimony, the former Inquirer boss detailed how he pledged to catch and kill bad stories about Trump in the 2016 election campaign. What's wrong with that? You know, the entire media are against Trump except the Inquirer. You know, the Newsweek killed the Monica Lewinsky story. Investigative reporters at Newsweek magazine had investigated and wrote the first stories about Bill Clinton having an affair with a 25-year-old White House intern. Newsweek killed the story because the people that ran it at the time were friends with the Clintons and Bill Clinton was president. And the reporters leaked it to Drudge. Why aren't the Clintons in jail, in court, being charged? Newsweek is like at the time, was a big deal. This is just a tabloid. The tabloid chief told the court he had been Trump's eyes and ears on the lookout for claims by women that could damage his friend, who he called the most eligible bachelor, on the stand yesterday. After forging an agreement with Trump, he had also published negative stories about his rivals and opponents, including Ted Cruz, Marco Rubio, and Hillary Clinton. He's the first witness in the trial. President Trump, by the way, facing 34 felony counts, including falsifying business records as one of the charges. The records relate to payments to porn star Stormy Daniels. Okay? And her silence was bought by claims, after claims of an alleged affair. Trump, the first president to face criminal trial, shuffled papers and watched Pecker intently as he gave evidence just feet away. The former Inquirer had described to the jury of 5 women and 7 men a key meeting in August 2015 at Trump Tower. The meeting included Trump's fixer, Michael Cohen, and another aide, Hope Hicks, who was in and out of the meeting. The publisher, who had already been friends with Trump for decades, said he was asked what he could do for the campaign. He said he volunteered to publish positive stories about Trump and negative stories about his opponents. Okay, where's the crime? Isn't this what the New York, when the New York Post story came out about the laptop, isn't this what the rest of the press did, including Twitter? Shut down the story because it was negative about Biden? He went on to tell Trump, "I'll be your eyes and ears, directing anything I hear in the marketplace, anything negative about yourself or about women selling stories." It was agreed that he would notify Michael Cohen so the right stories could be purchased and they would not get published. Pecker went on to say, "We used checkbook journalism and we paid for stories." Okay, where's the problem here? When someone is running for public office like this, it is very common for women to call up a magazine like the National Enquirer to try to sell their stories. The prosecutor asked the Enquirer guy about the deal with the Trump Tower doorman, Dino Sadujan. In late 2015, the Enquirer said they got a tip about a story. He said Dino was in the market selling a story that Donald Trump fathered an illegitimate girl with a maid at Trump Tower, and the maid worked in his penthouse. At this time, this was on the witness stand yesterday, and when that was said, Trump reportedly shook his head. Pecker said he immediately called Michael Cohen and gave him the name of the doorman and the name of the housekeeper. Michael Cohen told him the story was absolutely not true. The doorman then signed an agreement for them to have exclusive rights to the story. The Enquirer boss and Cohen thanked him and said the boss would be very pleased. The boss implied to be Donald Trump. According to his testimony, Michael Cohen said that Mr. Trump would take a DNA test. He's German-Irish. This woman's Hispanic, Cohen said. Pecker said, I told Michael Cohen that won't be necessary. We'll vet the story. The National Enquirer, this was all in testimony yesterday. Notice, no laws broken, nothing. Everything on the up and rather normal. The National Enquirer hired a private investigator and established it was absolutely 1,000% true. You know, Steve and I, over the years, and this still happens, we have private meetings with people that hold office and are running for office. We've done this over the years because people approach us all the time to come on, and sometimes we'll meet with them. Usually in a private room over at Wings Plus. They have a private dining room. That people that are running for office or hold office are always reaching out to people in the media. It's very normal. Pecker said they paid for the story because if it got to another publication or another media outlet, it would have been embarrassing to the campaign. He said, I bought the story. If the story was true and I published it, it would probably be the biggest story in the National Enquirer since the death of Elvis Presley. Trump laughed at the Elvis mention. He said, if the story had been true, I would have waited until after the 2016 election and then published it. He also detailed the case of Karen McDougal, a Playboy model who we became aware of, had offers from media organizations to buy her story of an affair with Trump. The Enquirer interviewed McDougal, and he kept Michael Cohen, updated. Cohen suggested they speak on the encrypted app Signal rather than a landline. Now, at this point, I would imagine this is after Trump found out that Obama was spying on Trump Tower, so they wanted to be careful on their conversations. The Enquirer boss received a call from Trump and told the then presidential candidate he should buy the story, but Trump said, "I don't buy any stories." This was all testimony. Trump said, "I don't buy any stories." This is the prosecution witness clearing Trump. The tabloid publisher said Michael Cohen started to become very agitated. He was getting a lot of pressure to obtain details of the Enquirer interview with McDougal. He kept calling me, and each time he seemed more anxious. I assumed he had a conversation with Mr. Trump, and Mr. Trump was asking Michael Cohen, "Did we hear anything?" He told Cohen to relax. And I'll finish this before the break. I know the break's late, but I want to finish this. And then if you'd like to call in and comment, you're welcome to at 1-888-465-2631. I said any stories that are out there about Donald Trump, his family, the election, whatever it might be, I want you to vet the stories. I want you to bring them to me. We'll have to speak to Michael Cohen. You'll call him, or I will, and we'll tell him what the stories are. This was the Enquirer boss. Pecker and Cohen would call and say, "We would like for you to run a negative article on arrival." So Cohen would say, "We want you to run a negative article," he told the court. Let's say it's on Ted Cruz. He would send me info about Ted Cruz or Ben Carson or Marco Rubio, and that was the basis of our story. He was asked by the prosecutor who he thought Cohen meant by we. He said, "I assumed he was talking about Mr. Trump." The court would show National Enquirer headlines Bungling surgeon Ben Carson left a sponge in a patient's brain. Ted Cruz shamed by porn star. And perv Ted Cruz caught cheating. Another headline was, Donald Trump blasts Ted Cruz's dad with photo with JFK assassin. Yeah, I remember that one, Lee Harvey Oswald. That's a true story, by the way. And that's it. After the Republican debates and based on some of the success of that our candidates had, I'd receive a call from Michael Cohen, and he would direct me on which candidate and which direction we should go. That's the process. We would send him PDFs of this story before it was published so we could see the direction we were going. He'd comment on them. We'd add content based on the information Michael Cohen had. Nothing here is illegal. Nothing here is inappropriate. And Trump, the guy testified, the prosecution witness testified, Trump told him, I don't buy stories. Not that buying a story is illegal, mind you. So, first witness, Trump cleared, baby. Not going the way they thought it would go, is it? All right, we'll take our last break of this first hour. We'll be back.
The cold, hard truth. Delivered morning 6 to 9 right here on The Steve Kane Show.
Brian Craig here. I've been telling you about how my chiropractor, Dr. Philip Appleton, has rid me of pain from a knee injury and arthritis pain with his laser away pain treatment. Don't just take my word for it. This is one of our callers who called me live on the radio to tell me how chiropractic physician Dr. Philip Appleton helped him with his laser away pain treatment. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling?
My name is Shawna from Boca Raton. I want to thank you guys once again.
I mean, that... Now, tell me what you think, yes or no, that the prosecution's first witness totally exonerates Trump. I mean, that's amazing. They must have been so freaking embarrassed.
Hey, good morning, Brian. It's Lisa, and my husband and I received our My Pillow 2.0 that we ordered with Kane the other day to buy one get one free, and they're our first My Pillows, and we love them. We absolutely love them. They're just absolutely marvelous. Yeah, I'm so glad. I got shippers on the way too.
Go to mypillow.com and use our promo code Kane and check out KANE and buy your My Pillow 2.0. Right now, buy one, get one free. You can also order by phone, toll free, 800-716-4879. 1-800-716-4879.
Awesome. Thanks, Cindy.
Promo code Kane.
The True Oldies Channel is your Sunfest ticket giveaway headquarters. South Florida's premier music festival is back May 3rd through the 5th, and you can win your tickets right here. Join out the night every Saturday from noon to 4 to grab tickets to the event everyone is talking about, Sunfest. Get tickets to Sunfest Saturday afternoon with your pal Al and Knight, right here on the True Oldies Channel. We take on the social justice warriors for breakfast. Now the Steve Kane Show is on the air.
All right, and of course, if you'd like to support this great program and get the best night's sleep you've ever had, go to mypillow.com. Use our promo code Kane at checkout, K-A-N-E. Huge savings site-wide. You can save up to 80% off. And remember, every time you use our promo code Kane at checkout, K-A-N-E, you're supporting this program, okay? And I know you guys want to do that. Plus, you're supporting Mike Lindell. Now, you can use our promo code Kane on every special you see at MyPillow.com, not just the ones I talk about, okay? But I talk about what I think are my must-haves, best deals, and such. But I just want to just mention the MyPillow sheets because my daughter's coming in today from Los Angeles, coming in a few days early for the cruise, so she can visit the whole family. And my wife and I, we, of course, we made the bed, put new sheets on the bed, and they're MyPillow sheets. And, the MyPillow sheets are amazing. My wife and I, we have, 6, 8 pairs or sets of them. We've had them since they first came out. And the oldest set we have look like the day we got them because everything Mike Lindell makes is of incredible high quality. They're made of that 100% Giza cotton, which regulate your body temperature. It keeps you the perfect temperature all night, no matter the heat of the summer and the cold of the winter. It's amazing. But what amazed me the most about the MyPillow Giza sheets is how that bottom fitted sheet fits on so well. If you've ever made your bed with other sheets, you know how it goes, especially after one or two washings. With other sheets, that bottom sheet, the fitted sheet, you just can't get it on. You get one corner on, okay. The second one, and you got to do it like alternate corners, The third corner, you get on a little bit, and that last corner, you can't even get it over the corner of the bed. And I found myself pulling so hard to get that fourth corner over, just a hair over the mattress to keep it in place. I was afraid my fingertips were going to slip, and I was going to fly across the room, and the knob of the dresser or the closet or the door would hit me in the back, depending on which corner of the bed I'm in. With the MyPillow sheets, the fitted sheet, even after 100 or more washings, fits perfectly without any effort. You just use 2 fingers and a thumb. Corner 1, corner 2, corner 3, corner 4. That's it. It's without effort. It's absolutely amazing. They come in every mattress size and many different colors. Huge discount on those as well. So go to MyPillow.com, use our promo code Kane at checkout, K-A-N-E, and load up. So 2 days of trial, both days, the prosecution making the defense case. Doing very good. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Hey, Nick.
I just wanted to mention that during the 2020 campaign, Bloomberg announced he could only run negative stories about President Trump and nothing negative about Democrats.
Yeah, that's right. And Lauren Michaels on Saturday Night Live, he was asked, why don't you do any skits making fun of Democrats? And he says, that's not funny. Only making fun of Republicans is. And that's Saturday Night Live, which is part of NBC News, and it becomes part of the news the next day on MSNBC when they do that.
And they still do that.
So, and every media outlet is against Trump except one tabloid that isn't even online. The National Enquirer does not have their stuff online, okay? It's one tabloid, no online presence to speak of, works with him when everybody else is against him, and that's a crime?
Not to the liberals.
That's right. All right, I appreciate it, Nick. This testimony yesterday was astounding. I was expecting them to have something damaging to Trump. I figured they put the screws to this guy, and they put the screws to these guys, and they'll say whatever they want them to say. Everything he said did nothing but clear Trump. The whole thing. Nothing wrong with any of that. And by the way, that Ted Cruz story about his father is true. And it wasn't printed just in the Enquirer. This has been investigated by other journalists. You can look it up. I talked about it a lot at the time. But Ted Cruz's father, there's a photograph of him with Lee Harvey Oswald in New Orleans, obviously before the assassination. And Ted Cruz came up through politics through the Bush family. And Ted Cruz's father was doing undercover work either for the FBI or the CIA. Remember, he had recently come here from Cuba, and he was infiltrating Lee Harvey Oswald's little group there. And if you go and watch JFK, the movie with Kevin Costner, oh, I forgot the name. What's the guy in that movie that he plays? Garrison. Garrison had a subpoena for 2 unnamed Cuban witnesses. One of them was Ted Cruz's dad. Ted Cruz's dad fled New Orleans after the assassination, went to Canada. That's why Ted Cruz was born in Canada. People forgot about that. Ted Cruz was born in Canada because his father was fleeing the Garrison subpoenas in New Orleans. So yeah, so that's true story about the Lee, and I imagine he was in with Bush. Remember, Bush was in the FBI then, and Bush 41 was in Dallas the day President Kennedy was shot. So that Ted Cruz dad connection to Lee Harvey Oswald is very, very true. That's why I never fully trust Ted Cruz. Okay, and I know his dad's denied it. He's denied it. What are they supposed to do? Admit it? Why do you think they keep the JFK files sealed for so long? Because there's a lot of things. I mean, look at that. That's Ted Cruz connected to it. Wasn't even born yet. All right, we're going to take our break for the top of the hour. We've only just begun, just like the Carpenters. We got a lot more to cover. My name's Brian. You're listening to the Steve Kane Show. Our number is toll-free, 1-888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call no matter where you're calling from. You're welcome to call in whether you agree or disagree. You're listening to the longest-running radio show in the state of Florida, the Steve Kane Show. I'm Brian. Back after this.
WSFS 104.3 HD3 Miramar, WIRK 103.1 HD3 Indiantown, and heard in Broward on 96.9 FM, Boca Raton on 95.3 FM, West Palm Beach on 95.9 FM, and County on 106.5 FM. Programming paid for by Vic Canales Media Group. Your home for the Steve Kane Show. From the Palm Beach Patio Furniture Weather Center, where luxurious outdoor spaces are created, here's the oldies forecast.
Good Wednesday morning, everybody. What a great couple days we've had, and we're seeing more of the same. Today, a high of 8 degrees, beautiful sunshine, dry conditions, and lower than average humidity, and winds at between 14 and 32 the afternoon for swing. Meteorologist Sandra Shaw.
Weather brought to you by Palm Beach Patio Furniture. Route 1 Seminole Plaza Shops, North Palm Beach. Palm Beach Patio Furniture. Voted in the best patio store in Palm Beach County. PalmBeachPatioFurniture.com, where luxurious outdoor spaces are created.
And now, a true oldies traffic check. Brought to you
I'm trying to get
by Club.
the schedule of the cruise here. Where we're going to be on which day, and I don't see it.
Traffic, a service of the Palm Beach Kennel Club. This Friday, check out the Petty Nick's Dinner Show in the Paddock Restaurant, a tribute to Tom Petty and Stevie Nicks, and delicious 3-course meal. On Sunday, don't miss PBKC's Sports Card and Memorabilia Show with great vendors, door prizes, free admission, and more. And coming up May 4th, check out PBKC's Kentucky Derby Fest with Jumbo Screen, live music from Sip and Fire, Derby hat contest, barbecue tent and bars, mint juleps, fun activities, and more. For more information, go to pbkennelclub.com.
Sloman's is doing it again for true oldies listeners. Call 833-283-5050 and Sloman's will give you a free home security system.
All right, I get it, Mr. DJ. We've heard you say it a million times on this radio station. We get it. Sloman's is the best in home security. It's privately owned and serving homeowners for the last 100 years.
All right, what else comes with this special offer?
I'm going to show you that I've heard you a million times. Sloman's will customize a system specifically for your home and include professional installation, an LED touchscreen pad, motion detector for interior protection, 10 contacts, backup battery in case of power failure, and you're ready for this? A lifetime warranty. So call Sloman's today at 833-283-5050. That's 833-283-5050.
Sloman's is a no-brainer. Call 833-283-5050. That's 833-283-5050.
Huh.
Today signs the $95 billion foreign aid package that the Senate did the final legislative sign-off on last night. $60 billion for Ukraine, lesser amounts for Israel, Taiwan, and Indo-Pacific. Donald Trump's hush money trial is off until Thursday. On Tuesday, the
Great.
judge made no ruling on whether Trump is repeated.
Someone just sent me the schedule for the cruise. I couldn't find my schedule.
Honey, the credit card bill came, and we're maxed out.
So next Wednesday, a week from today, we'll be in Curacao. Tuesday, Aruba. We leave Saturday. So Sunday and Monday, we're at sea. Tuesday, Aruba. Wednesday, Curacao. Thursday, Bonaire. Friday and Saturday, sea days. Then we wake up Sunday morning. Okay. Oh, this is exciting.
Since 1977, it's the Steve Kane Show.
All righty. 5 minutes after the hour. Hour number 2 has begun. I was just looking at one of our cruisers just sent me the schedule because I couldn't find it. See, you see what I know? I don't know. A week from today, Wednesday next week, we'll be in Curacao. Tuesday, Aruba. So we leave on Saturday. Sunday and Monday, we're at sea. Tuesday, Aruba. Wednesday, Curacao. Thursday, Bonaire. And then Friday and Saturday are sea days where we're going to have a great time. And then we wake up Sunday back in Fort Lauderdale. How exciting. I can't wait. I need the vacation, although it's a working vacation. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Conservative Doug.
Oh, hey, Doug.
All right, I hope you, when you're on your vacation, you take a vacation and not just work. I know you're a workaholic, but man, relax. You need some time off.
Oh, yeah.
Anyhow, if the New York Times says Trump gained 500% on black, it's probably 5,000%, knowing the New York Times because they can't stand it. But did you hear that there's an article about how President Trump is because his businesses are not doing well, he's using campaign funds to pay for his businesses. But then they turn around and say, well, it's not illegal because if you use something that he owns, they're supposed to be able to charge as long as it's the right amount. But just the wording, the way they do it.
Well, like I remember there was this came up in the first campaign with Trump, right? And I can't remember who pointed this out, but Biden charges the Secret Service rent at his house in Delaware. I mean, he's making money off his own security detail from the government. I mean, it's so, come on.
What is President Trump supposed to do? If he uses Mar-a-Lago to have an affair, an event, then.
Well, one of the reasons they have a lot of campaign events at Mar-a-Lago. One of the reasons they use Mar-a-Lago is not just because everybody wants to go there. It's safe and secure. The Secret Service. When I went there for that Trump event recently, I couldn't believe. It's got the walls and the moat around it, but when there's an army in there. I couldn't believe it. There's an army inside Mar-a-Lago. Now they keep their distance and they're in the bushes and stuff, but there's an army there with rifles. Like I haven't seen men walk around with rifles that big since I was at the Fort Lauderdale airport right after 9/11. I mean, it's an army there. It's a secure location.
But that doesn't mean if they use his hotel or use one of his golf courses or something that he's not supposed to get paid for it. He doesn't.
Yeah.
So, but they say these. Just the way they say it, they make it sound like he's doing something.
Well, they've had. Listen, they've been waiting. That old saying: "Be careful what you wish for; you just might get it." So they've been waiting for this criminal trial of Trump since 2015. They finally got one. They've had 2 days, opening arguments, and then the first star witness. Both days, the prosecution is making the defense case. I mean, that the guy from the Inquirer yesterday, Trump did nothing wrong. He did everything perfect. He was much more reserved, especially the part where he said, Mr. Trump told me I don't buy stories. Oh. The jury has a bunch of Trump haters on it, and it's even going to be hard for them to convict with this.
One of the reasons I think Trump is getting so much increase in black because they know that this trial that he's going to is kind of like a black guy getting a witness, getting a jury of Ku Klux Klan members.
No, you're right.
they feel sympathy for him. They understand. Plus, he's a great guy.
Yeah, yeah. I thought I really must tell you, I'm in shock that they didn't get anything that did anything other than help Trump yesterday with this attorney. You know, this was their first witness, and they had been telling us that this witness was going to be the beginning. And he's been Trump's friend, but he's betrayed him, and he's going to detail how the hush money scheme worked. I didn't hear anything inappropriate. I mean that. I read the whole thing. If there was, I'd share it with you. But everything Trump did was on the up and up and normal.
This prosecutor, if he had any brains in his head, he wouldn't have brought the case. But I think it's all backed by Biden to tell him do anything he can to.
Well, we know this. They've got that attorney that left the Justice Department, number 3 job at the Justice Department. Caligula, and he left to go work for Bragg to prosecute this case. Come on, that's direct collusion between the White House and the leader of the political opposition, Donald Trump, right there.
But I guess Biden knows that there's no way he's going to win, so he's got to do anything underhanded, whatever he possibly could do.
Well, I'm starting to think that the prosecution's trying to clear Trump.
Well, certainly that's probably what's going to happen. I certainly think so.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody sitting in there, no matter how much they hate Trump, after you're listening, you got to say, man, I can't say he's guilty. But we'll soon see. But I think they'll do it, and if they buy the jury off.
But see, liberals aren't fair. Like I'll tell you, Alec Baldwin. Okay. Alec Baldwin's a nasty man. He hasn't made a movie that anyone's wanted to see. I mean, what's the last Alec Baldwin movie you wanted to see? Hunt for Red October was really good. He was in Talk Radio, which I'm a big fan of that movie with David Bogosian. He was the program director of the radio station, but that wasn't really. There hasn't been a movie that he has starred in that I've wanted to see, and that was like in 30 years. He's very nasty. But if I were on that jury, I think Alec Baldwin has an expectation that a prop gun is filled with blanks. So if I were on a jury, unless they can prove to me that he knew there was live ammo in there, it'd be hard for me to send Alec Baldwin to prison just because I can't stand the guy and he's nasty. You know what I mean? I could say, So there shouldn't be live ammunition on the set, and the prop girl, she's going away. And she's responsible for that. But if they determine that Alec Baldwin had reasonable suspicion of live ammo in the gun, then okay, murder conviction. But I would acquit Alec Baldwin for murder if the evidence showed that he had an expectation to think that it was a prop gun with blanks. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see what happens. But liberals aren't fair.
Yeah, exactly. Liberals think that they have to do what they have to do, and that's better for the party, and they're a cult. That's what I call them.
Well, they're twisted. They have this mass psychosis, I guess. It's called Trump derangement syndrome. But even these Trump derangement syndrome sufferers have got to say to themselves, how can we convict Donald Trump with this?
It's probably be a mistrial, I think, and then they'll probably start it all over again, just the latest.
Mm-hmm.
Just to keep President Trump in there is really upsetting.
That's right.
The poor guy can't do it.
That's right. All right, Doug, I appreciate the call. Take care. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning. Top of the morning to you. Alan at Bagels, enjoying my bagel.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, you're talking about the Alec Baldwin case, which has got nothing to do with the Trump case. I mean, Trump, they got the notes of Weisenberg, his notes for the payment. They disguised the payment, $420,000 trickled.
Oh, really? So there's been evidence in front of the jury that says that Donald Trump knowingly paid money to Stormy Daniels? No, there's not. No, there's not. See, Al, this is what I'm doing here. Okay, if you notice, you've listened to me. We've had 2 days of the actual trial. Openings, and yesterday was the witness, first witness. Today, the court's closed. If you notice, what I've been talking about are things that have been entered into evidence as they're being presented to the jury, so that the court of public opinion, that's this great audience that we have on this program, can make decisions based on what the jury has presented, not on some loser like you who's got all this stuff you want to throw out. We're only talking about what's entered into evidence in the court. And so far, what the prosecution has entered into evidence exonerates President Trump.
Really?
What has been entered into evidence in the... excuse me. Yes, really. Tell me what David Pecker from the Inquirer said yesterday under oath in front of the jury that is criminal behavior of President Trump.
No.
What? Yesterday, slow down, stop, just listen, stop talking for a second. Stop talking for a second. Yesterday, David Pecker testified, the Inquirer guy. And he was the first prosecution witness. What did his testimony reveal yesterday that was a criminal act by President Trump?
When Cohen...
No. Cohen hasn't testified yet. The Inquirer guy testified yesterday. What from yesterday's testimony? What did he testify to yesterday on the witness stand in front of the jury that shows criminal activity by Donald Trump?
The catch and kill of a...
That's not. No. That's not a crime. That's not a crime. When Newsweek killed the Lewinsky-Clinton affair story, that wasn't a crime. It was journalistic misconduct, but it wasn't criminal.
You do realize that Ted Cruz...
No. We're talking about the testimony yesterday. What crime... Excuse me. That's not a crime. That's not a crime. Okay? When he testified... Excuse me. A crime of Donald Trump's that was detailed by the witness yesterday on the stand.
They have handwritten notes.
No, that wasn't part of the evidence yesterday. We're talking about... So you're agreeing with me. The witness said nothing yesterday that shows criminal actions by President Trump.
Fake news.
Killing news stories is not a crime. I mean, how many publications did not allow stories on the laptop, for example? You wouldn't say they were committing a crime. They just made an editorial judgment.
You want to say that fudging the books like it?
No, that has not, fuzzing the books. There's been no evidence of that in front of the jury. So you agree with me, Al, that yesterday's witness, the prosecution witness from the Inquirer, did not testify to any criminal activity of President Trump.
You put it on hold. I didn't hear a word you said.
Yeah, well, your answer would have been the same.
Cruz, and it is ruined by the fact that Trump is going to get convicted by a jury that's not all Democrats, and the man has diarrhea of the mouth. He never engages his brain.
Diarrhea of the mouth. Well, I will say this, Al. When you're talking about diarrhea of the mouth, at least you're talking about something you're an expert in, since you yourself have it. All right? We'll be right back.
Don't sit on the sidelines. Get in on the action. Call the Steve Kane Show live on air.
Did you hear how confused he was? He was so confused.
Grab your flip-flops and get ready for a summer in paradise on Margaritaville at Sea, where cruises to the Bahamas now start at just $75 per person for a limited time. Dance the night away at our high-energy poolside parties night after night with your favorite plus one. From fins up to sundown, a Bahamas getaway with Margaritaville at Sea is the perfect summer refresh. Book it today to lock in your savings on your next cruise together at MargaritavilleAtSea.com.
Are you exhausted after work with no energy left in the tank to give your family? Are you having a midday crash on a daily basis? Women, are menopause...
I know. I'm excited, Freedom Soup.
...and depression making your daily life feel far more difficult than it should? Men, do you feel like you are aging far are beyond what you should? Is your sexual life and relationships suffering because of disappointments in the bedroom? Then take action and let our medical team at Lighthouse.
If you're new to my channel, make sure you subscribe, guys.
We use all natural hormone optimization therapy with precision technology to help solve your problematic symptoms. Our family-owned practice has had the honor of serving our South Florida community for over 71 years. Call us right now and let our medical team get you optimized and feeling the way that you should. Life is too short to be running at less than 100%. You and your family deserve the best version of you. Call us at 754-222-6642 or visit us at lighthousemedicalcenter.com to schedule your consultation today.
I'm still going to stream online on YouTube as much as I can, so look out for me here on this channel. But I do need a vacation. I mean, last week, I thought I was going to end up in the hospital. I was so exhausted last week. I was really, really having a tough time. The week before, too.
Do you suffer from neuropathy? I did, until I went to Lighthouse Medical Center in Pompano. Numbness, pain, burning, tingling in my hands and feet, muscle weakness, loss of balance, muscle twitching have all but disappeared. Say goodbye to your neuropathy symptoms. Call Lighthouse Medical Center for a free consultation. 754-222-6642. Tell them Steve Kane sent you.
Now is the best time of the month to consider copper, gold, silver, battery metals, cleantech, biotech, and high equities. Listen to Money Talk Radio South Florida with me, Ellis Martin, 9:30 a.m. weekdays here on your Goldie station.
Now back to the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig. Listen in the Palm Beaches on 95.9 FM, the Treasure Coast on 106.9 FM, hear us in Boca on 95.3 FM, Fort Lauderdale on 96.9 FM, and anywhere in the world at True Oldies FLA.
All right, welcome back, one and all. It's the Steve Kane Show. I'm Brian Craig. You know, I want to do just a little addition to Steve's message from Lighthouse Medical Center on neuropathy, okay? I mean, you've heard it works. If you or someone you know or love is suffering from neuropathy, get them over to Lighthouse Medical. But here's the thing. No matter where you're located, they can help you. Even if you can't make it into their office in your local, or you're in another part of Florida, or another part of the United States, they can still help you with your neuropathy. All right, so give them a call. Make sure you mention, no matter where you're located, that you heard them here on the program so you can take advantage of that no-charge consultation. 754-222-6642. 754-222-6642. And online, lighthousemedicalcenter.com. Oh, boy, did you see how Al was speechless? Liberal Al was speechless. He didn't have anything that's come out in court so far. You know, and this is a rule we had during the O.J. Simpson trial, which was televised and the nation stopped. We talked daily about what happened in the courtroom the day before. We didn't throw random things out. We talked about what had been revealed in the trial itself. We're like the 13th juror, right? In the court of public opinion. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, how you doing? This is Maria from Florida.
Hey, Maria.
Hey, how you doing? Yeah, I just called on to what you was the guy you were speaking to, Al, whoever.
Liberal Al, yeah, loser.
You know what? You good because I don't think I can talk to these people. These people don't have no common sense or anything. All they do is hatred, and it's getting to the point where people, honest, good heart, loving people, don't want to communicate with these people because they have no self-control.
Well, and if you listen to Al, Al's no different than Rachel Maddow or Anderson Cooper. They've had 2 days of this trial, and everything that's come out clears Trump. And this is the prosecution's case. This was one of the prosecution's star witnesses. And they got nothing out of him. He was a great witness for the defense.
Yeah, because I listened to it a little bit. He said that he killed the story.
So what?
He killed was not showing that, and he said because he didn't. When he said Michael Cohen, and I guess he was talking about Steve Bannon, got him to kill the story about running that story through the primary to smear Trump. And if you look at it, that's accurate. All the politicians do that. And Bill Clinton did it.
You know, there was a guy, it's been long enough I can talk about some of these things. People that hold office and run for office contact people in the media all the time. Steve and I, this is part of, I just got a text message from someone that's running for a pretty big office, okay? But years ago, there was someone running for sheriff in one of the South Florida counties, and they were running against someone, and they came to me and Steve, and they gave us all these things about internal affairs investigations that person had gone through that was running for sheriff. You know, this is what people do. This is what people in the media, all of us, even in a at this level, you get contacted by people, and you either go with the stories or you don't. I don't think anybody. I've never heard anybody call it killing a story, but I'm not going to go on the air about some internal investigation of somebody that people had made. I don't know how that turned out. I don't know enough about it. You know what I mean? But they came to us and had internal affairs. I mean, that's a pretty big deal. That's how dirty it gets, right? And that's just how it is. Steve and I didn't kill the story. In fact, we didn't even like the guy that had the internal affairs investigation. We liked the other guy, but we didn't go. Did we kill a story, or did we feel it wasn't credible enough to go public with? Right?
Exactly. And another thing too, I was listening at the first day of the trial starting with the testimony, well, the open statement, and I seen that guy, and I knew that guy's face was somewhere. I had to snap back and I said, wait a minute, that guy was up on Barack Obama. He was inside the DOJ, but he was also inside Obama White House. Then I looked at it again and I said, and he also was in the DOJ, and this the guy that Donald Trump have been saying. So I said to myself, people, are you listening now?
Yeah.
Donald J. Trump, are you listening to him?
Yeah, Caligula, this guy from the Justice Department that's prosecuting the case. You know, one time I wrote a letter to the editor of the Miami Herald, and they printed it. And then I get a call. Well, they got a bunch of calls about me, okay? And then I get a call from a reporter at the Miami Herald who was yelling at me because they printed my letter, and I did not identify myself as a radio guy. And I said, my name is there. I said, that's up to you to do due diligence. Nobody asked me. You got to put in what you do for a living. You know, you understand what I mean? People in the media get it. Listen, there was nothing that was testified to yesterday that was inappropriate or illegal by Donald Trump. In fact, Donald Trump, with that doorman story, I've been hearing that for years, about a love child with a Trump Tower maid, and he testified in front of the jury. Donald Trump offered to take a DNA test. What a guy that was messing around wouldn't take a DNA test. That DNA test, if there was any possibility that he was the father, that's millions of dollars forever that he'd have to pay, right? Millions a year forever. And so yeah, so I don't understand why the prosecution's bringing these witnesses up that are clearing Trump. It's hilarious.
He don't have a case, and he's trying to make a case. He's trying to make a case so it can look credible to the jury.
Yeah.
Please the jury to make the jury and convict Trump on any little simple thing, but it's going to be hard to do that, even with Michael Cohen and Stormy Daniels and all the rest.
Mm-hmm.
I heard he also bringing up Hope Pick. I forgot who she was. I guess she was.
She's a good friend of Ivanka, and she's worked for President Trump for years. She's recently come back to the Trump Organization.
Right. So she's not going to be a credible witness for the prosecution.
I don't know.
You know, I don't believe that she's going to turn on.
There's nothing to turn on. These people are just telling the truth so far, and you know, I can't wait for Stormy Daniels. And what I'm looking forward to with Stormy Daniels is President Trump's attorney's cross-examination of Stormy Daniels. Oh.
Because she got that book out there. As a matter of fact, she's on Pulu. She not Pulu, but Peacock. She's on Peacock with her video.
And that's the perfect place for her. Yeah. All right, listen, Maria, I got to run. Thanks for the call. If you're on hold, stand by. Back after this.
Morning radio great again.
I think you're gonna really love it.
It's the Steve Kane Show.
Down from New York.
Uh-huh.
They're talking about just how bad it's been getting in New York.
Yeah.
Like, I know we hear it from the news and stuff like that, but hearing them talk about it, just like, my gosh.
Oh, yeah.
They're afraid to, they were saying, like, in the parks and stuff like that in the city, like, usually you want to go to watch the trees and the color trees.
Oh, yeah, I bet.
But, like, they don't want to.
Did you see the woman on the airplane confront the mayor in Miami? Yeah, a woman confronted Mayor Adams on a plane. He was flying out of Miami yesterday. It's hilarious. It's on Twitter.
Oh, God, look at that now. Now I'm curious.
Yeah, I can't play it. There's a lot of F words in it, and so she was cussing at him. It was hilarious.
Yeah. I'm sure if we played it, it'd just be a bunch of bleeps.
Yeah.
Sounds like
yeah. If we're on hold, hang in there. Now, don't forget, guys, promo code Kane at checkout at mypillow.com, Kane. The spring sale extravaganza is going on. Huge discounts. In fact, the biggest discounts ever on top My Pillow products. I mean, the lowest prices ever, including the slippers and everything else. So just great deals. And remember, when you use my promo code Kane at checkout, Kane, you're supporting this program and all the content I bring to you. So go to mypillow.com, use my promo code Kane at checkout. I give you a couple examples here. I mean, the deals. Oh, by the way, free shipping on orders over $75. But look at this. The My Pillow towel sets with my promo code Kane, 50% off. Sandal slides and my slippers as low as $25 a pair with my promo code Kane. The My Pillow 2.0. Buy one, get one free with my promo code Kane. The My Pillow coffee, 50% off. There's even My Pillow socks, all kinds of socks, 40% off. But you can use my promo code on all the specials there. The My Pillow pet beds, $25 with my promo code Kane, Kane. If you're on hold, hang in there. That Inquirer witness, that was just beautiful yesterday. That was like as good as it gets. I am so hungry, starving. All right, we're coming back. If you're on hold, hang in there.
Celebrating 47 years on the air.
All right, callers on hold, stand by. 36 minutes after the hour. Just to recap, the first witness that the prosecution called, David P., I'll call him. Sometimes I'll say his full name, but, you know, the name like that. Oh, my goodness. It's child abuse not to change your name and let your child, especially a boy, grow with that name. But yesterday, the prosecution's first star witness 100% cleared Trump of any wrongdoing. Also cleared everyone in Trump's orbit of any wrongdoing. It was amazing. You would have thought it was a defense witness. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Eric from Florida.
Yeah.
Hey, what's going on, man? Hey, why you lying to these people, man? What people? You lying to them all the time.
What's the lie I told?
You said that the man didn't, David didn't give out any information to discriminate Trump, right?
To discriminate? You mean to
to make him look bad, so to speak.
Yeah, he didn't. He was a prosecution witness. He was questioned by the prosecutor, and he didn't answer any questions that showed that President Trump did anything illegal.
He told him that he covered everything that Trump did.
So what? That's what the press do.
Cover for because Trump wouldn't.
No. Excuse me. Excuse me. Excuse me. As an example, the doorman story, who said that Trump had fathered a child with a maid. He said President Trump offered to take a DNA test, and they also hired a private investigator who investigated and found out the story was 100% false.
You don't think you're paying for that child?
Listen, it was testified to in court that the story was not true in front of the jury. So, and that was a prosecution witness. It's not me saying that. It's the prosecution said that with their witness.
A lot of those stories they bought to cover it up, to squash it, to keep.
Maybe. He may have done it because he likes President Trump, but he also may have done it to do him favors so that he could get a better story down the road.
The same thing you're doing, the devil's advocate. He was there to cover Trump's butt. You know what I mean?
I don't know. I mean, I'm starting to question whether or not you're really a pastor. You bear so much false witness, it's hard to believe that you are a church leader. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
The name is Sandra. I'm calling from Delray.
Hey, Sandra.
Hi. Thank you for taking my call. Two issues. Number one, you know that it's the Republicans that are on the stand because they're not taking the fifth every second like the Democrats do. And number two, I'm sure I've never heard, or I've heard whispers that Joe Biden had a head operation, but that was covered up. I mean, the normal person that doesn't listen to the news doesn't know that. How come, that's not an issue? Things I wonder.
Well, the thing about the witness yesterday that totally Trump did nothing wrong, nothing inappropriate, definitely nothing illegal, or anyone that works for him. That the significance of that is that was the prosecution's first witness. And the media have been telling us for weeks since the witness list was announced, oh, the first star witness is his former friend, and he's turned, and it fell flat. I'm shocked that the prosecution even called him to the stand. What do you think's happening? Yeah.
Is corrupt.
And I'll tell you, here I am an hour and 40 minutes into the show. I've had multiple Democrats call in, and I've asked them, tell me something he testified to that showed that Trump committed a crime, and it's nothing. They want to talk about other things, but not the witness yesterday who cleared Trump. All right, Sylvia, I appreciate it. Del Rey. I love Del Rey. All right, Del Rey's nice. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, this is Richie.
Hey.
For all you Democrats out there, believe it or not, it's morally wrong, but cheating on your wife is not against the law, and you don't end up in a courtroom trying to be put put in jail for cheating on your wife.
Yeah.
To say you're looking for a crime, you got Trump, and what you're doing now is you're searching for a crime. There isn't a crime. There never was a crime.
Well, shouldn't they have found the crime before they brought him to trial?
This is about ignoramuses that just called you up. An ignorant person calling you up. Look, this is about tying President Trump up in a courtroom for 8 weeks.
Oh, he's been doing good. In fact, okay, yesterday there was a primary in Pennsylvania. President Trump was doing live interviews on local television in Pennsylvania yesterday, from New York, from Trump Tower. He's still campaigning.
Yeah, it's backfiring on them, but that's what this is all about. Take them off the campaign trail because Joe Biden cannot compete. Joe Biden is a zombie going around there. They got a video out there now with Joe Biden. I told you, walking into that restaurant, they had to rehearse it like about 30 times for him to pay a cashier. And he had an aide, an Afro-American woman, pick up a tray for him because the guy is out of it.
Did you see this video of him and AOC walking through the woods holding hands? What is that about?
She's garbage. She's up there. I mean, you did with that Columbia. She's telling her and that Omar. Listen to this. I mean, I know it's not Friday, but her and Omar, okay, are saying it's okay to demonstrate Columbia College like what they're doing, and the guy in Iran, that Khomeini or whatever, says it's wonderful that they're protesting because the West it puts pressure on the.
Yeah, you know what? This is what I don't get. Okay. Now, when we were at war against the Taliban and all that stuff, we couldn't take military action during Ramadan. It was offensive because it was a religious time. Why is Passover is a big deal? Passover is going on, and these Muslims are harassing Jews like I've never seen during Passover, and they're getting, unless they protest in front of Schumer's house, they're allowed to harass Jews and threaten them during this very religious time of Passover.
And they're being supported by the United States Congress, AOC, and Omar.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, let's get down to the bottom line here is, I told you, the Democratic Party are communists. These idiots that call you up, but they hate.
Yep.
No crime, folks. They're putting them there to.
That's right. But he's winning. Oh, I just want to mention about Ilhan Omar's daughter, okay, who's thrown out of Colombia. And she's talking about being homeless and hungry now. My wife and I were talking about this on my podcast a couple nights ago. I don't think I mentioned it here. Ilhan Omar's daughter, do you know what that was? All these interviews she's been doing about what happened to her at Columbia, appropriately so. That was her coming out party. That was introducing Ilhan Omar's daughter to the world of politics. That's a future congresswoman or senator, Ilhan Omar's daughter, who hates Jews and supports terrorists. We'll take our last break of the second hour and be back.
The Cold.
What? We'll be back right after this, guys.
We take on the social justice warriors for breakfast. Now the Steve Kane Show is on the air.
All right, welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. Now, first, before I get into this next story, I want to tell you guys about Dr. Appleton, who's rid me of pain 5 times. We're leaving on our cruise Saturday, as you hear me say often. I haven't had a vacation since our last cruise, which was over a year ago, and I'm pretty tired. I must tell you, I need the time off. Last week and the week before, I was really not doing well. I'm just exhausted. But, you know, some of our cruise goers that are coming here to Florida from out of state for the cruise are coming in early. They're coming in today, tomorrow, and Friday. And some of them are coming in early just to go and see Dr. Appleton and take advantage of the laser away pain treatment. It works, guys. The laser away pain treatment has rid me of pain 5 times. And so far as our cruisers that are coming to Florida early this week to see Dr. Appleton, remember, appointments are not necessary and walk-ins are welcome, even on Saturdays. We're leaving on Saturday. You get in there Saturday morning, you can walk in and see Dr. Appleton Saturday of the cruise. Just be back before, I don't know what time the ship's sailing, so, you know, don't miss the ship. But walk-ins are welcome even on Saturdays. Give Dr. Appleton a call. You know, the laser away pain treatment is 100% painless. There's no drugs, no downtime, no injections, shots, none of that stuff. And Dr. Appleton performs all the laser treatments himself. His number, 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710. And online, AppletonCairo.com. Give Dr. Appleton a call and say bye-bye to your pain. Okay, now I started the show at 6. There's a poll out by the New York Times, getting very little publicity because it's New York. They don't want you to know about this. But according to the New York Times poll, President Trump's support among African Americans since the last election has increased by 500%. 500%. For a whole bunch of reasons. One of them is the justice system. African American community has been dealing with this Democrat system of justice that's oppressed them for a couple centuries now. And they see it happening to Donald Trump. And there's Stephen A. Smith, who I know a lot of people talk about. I don't spend much time on Stephen A. Smith. He's a black sports journalist. He got himself into some hot water for telling the truth. He went on Hannity the other night. Let me play you part 1 This is Stephen A. Smith on Hannity. Listen.
Weeks ago, talking about how black folks, he's hearing that black folks find him relatable because what he's going through is similar to what black Americans have gone through. He wasn't lying. He was telling the truth. When you see the law enforcement, the court system, and everything else being exercised against him, it is something that black folks throughout this nation can relate to with some of our historic, iconic figures. We've seen that happen throughout society. So no matter what race, what ethnicity you may emanate from, we relate to you when you're suffering like that because we know we have. And that's what he articulated. As unpopular as it was, as much as we didn't like to hear it, it's the truth. And there's no way around it. Those are all contributing factors to the state of affairs with the slippage that appears to be taking fold when it comes to President Biden, unfortunately.
Okay, so that's Stephen A. Smith, black sports guy, and he's talking about why blacks are connecting with Trump and supporting him at a rate 500% greater than 3.5 years ago. Well, that was on Hannity the other night, and that went viral. Everyone was talking about it, and then in connection to the New York Times poll, and then they got to him, and he had to make a hostage video. And this is, well, I guess this is the hostage video. This is Stephen A. Smith yesterday backtracking on everything he said.
I wanted to touch on something that I made.
Notice the difference in tone. Let me go back to the Hannity. Listen to how excited he is on Hannity.
It is something that black folks throughout this nation can relate to.
Right? Yeah, hear all that excitement? And here he is with the backtrack hostage video. He sounds depressed.
I wanted to touch on something that I made news about just a few days ago. Let me say this, ladies and gentlemen. Accountability is where everything needs to begin in this world. It's something I say quite often. I certainly never hesitate to hold folks accountable when mistakes or mishaps occur. So I'm certainly not about to run from it myself. I'm fully aware that I've been in the news over the last few days.
Oh, boy.
And all over social media as well.
You know, this video here of Stephen A. Smith, this is like when the Viet Cong in North Vietnam would parade our American prisoners of war to do television interviews and apologize for their crimes committed upon the peaceful people of North Vietnam, right?
I made during my appearance on Fox News' Hannity last week with the one and only Sean Hannity himself. And I'm fully aware of the outcry that has ensued because of it. A lot of folks in Black America seem pretty pissed at me right now. From friends and loved ones to colleagues, contemporaries, and dare I say even the NAACP itself. Quite a few folks were put off, if not flat out offended, after my words were interpreted as associating support for Trump from the black community with all the legal issues he's facing. For that, I sincerely apologize.
Oh, my goodness.
To be clear, my words were misconstrued.
Oh, my goodness. Is he going to apologize for bombing the peaceful people of North Vietnam?
I'm stating right here for the record that my words were taken out of context, misrepresenting and depicting me in a way I found every bit as insulting and disrespectful as folks in Black America evidently felt about what they thought I said.
What the hell? What do you mean out of context? Hannity did something he doesn't do very often. He shut the hell up and let his guests talk, and Stephen A. Smith went on this long rant. I played it for you. There's no out of context. He just said it. Boy, they really put the screws to this guy.
But I'll own it anyway. Because, you know, please know that I know the buck stops with me. I'm in the communication business.
Oh, boy. You know what this reminds me of? Alex Haley's Roots. Not the book, but the movie. Remember LeVar Burton, Kunta Kinte? He finally escaped, and then he got caught. And remember what they did? They broke his ankles. They broke his ankles so he couldn't run anymore and said, "Your name is Toby." And he couldn't run anymore. And he stayed on the plantation for the rest of his life Never tried to escape again. That's what just happened to Stephen A. Smith. They Kunta Kinte'd him, told him his name is Toby, get back on the plantation, or that's it. Your career's over. That's Biden's America, people. That's a hostage video. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, it's Juan.
Hey, Juan.
Brian, good morning. Listen, Brian, you got this one all wrong with Stephen A. Smith, and please don't interrupt me. I'm going to tell you something because I know you're not a sports fanatic, but I am a news junkie and I'm a sports fanatic. Stephen A. Smith, I don't agree with him on everything, but here's the thing. He first stated a while back on Sean Hannity's show is that he is going to put out a podcast there on his own when he's ready to do this. And because he is more of a conservative than you realize. And as a result of that, he still wants to remain in the sports world.
Okay, I'm waiting for the part where you're going to correct me. I apologize for speaking because you asked me not to. You said you're going to correct me? What are you correcting me on? It sounds like you're agreeing with me.
No. What I'm saying to you is that he would rather be a sports analyst right now, other than like Keith Olbermann. He would rather be a political news analyst rather than a sports analyst. And he was in sports, then he was...
Listen. What obviously happened is he got his career threatened if he didn't go out and lie. So that video that I just played is him lying.
No, but if you listen to it closely, he said, that his words were taken out of context. And as a result of that, he still wants to be a sports analyst.
His words were not taken out of context. He did a rant. He talked, and I played the whole thing. Hannity asked him a long question, and Stephen A. Smith did a long rant uninterrupted. There's nothing out of context. He said what he said. Blacks don't like it when the justice system is used unfairly against innocent people.
Mob. That's the mob that we're seeing across.
So where are we disagreeing? I don't get it.
Stephen A. Smith is a good man and he's a conservative.
I didn't say anything. I just am talking about the statement, and I don't see where we're disagreeing on. I don't get it. You said you're going to correct me.
It's just like the rest of this country. Again, I'm repeating myself. He's being held hostage because the mob.
Okay, all right. Appreciate the call. So you're agreeing with me. Juan doesn't really like me that much, so he's just hostile in general, But that's a hostage video. He got his career threatened. That's it. I mean, I think it's quite clear when you watch the whole thing. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Good morning. You're on the air. What? I can't hear you. You got to turn down the volume of what's on behind you. Oh. Yes. You're on the air.
My mom loves your show.
Well, thank you. Tell your mom thank you.
He said thank you.
All right. Listen, I'm up against a break, so but I appreciate the call. All right, and tell your mother I said hello. Okay. All right. Take care. We're coming up on the top of the hour break. Our number toll free 1-888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. We have some great calls today. But pretty good calls today. I'll recap with Steve after the top of how the prosecution's star witness yesterday cleared President Trump of any wrongdoing. It was a beautiful thing. And we'll also take your calls. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. We'll be back.
WSFS 104.3 HD3 Miramar, WIRK 103.1 HD3 Indiantown, and heard in Broward on 96.9 FM, Boca Raton on 95.3 FM, West Palm Beach on 90.
What's going on? Oh, okay, just wait. You can do it another day. You can do it tomorrow or Friday if he's not here, or if he calls in, just let me know. Do we have any other call? Is Barry just okay? If he calls and it's late, I can do it at the end after Youngerman or something. Oh my gosh. I'm just reading a comment somebody left me. Yes, Eric Trump. Welcome, Eric. I'll be right back, guys. I was going to show something to Mike, but he wasn't back there. If you're on hold, hang in there. Steve, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. All right, callers on hold. Stand by. It's the Steve Kane Show. I'm Brian Craig. Steve joining us. Just a great day in court for President Trump yesterday. It doesn't get better than yesterday, Steve. Well, they brought in the guy that from the Inquirer, the first prosecution star witness, and he just completely cleared Trump of any wrongdoing. It was beautiful. I mean, you would have thought it was a defense witness. Well, I'm starting to think that the prosecution are trying to clear Trump, that they got themselves involved in this and they're trying to get out of it. They're like, we've done all this crime and it's not doing, it's coming back. If you're on hold, stand by. If you'd like to call in about everything I've covered with the trial, please do. Also, the latest poll in the New York Times shows President Trump's support among African American voters has increased by 500% since 2020. This is huge, 500% increase. So things are going well. Do you want to go to the phones? What do you want to do? All right, our number 1-888-465-2631. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, good morning, IB.
Hey, IB.
Yeah, man. Last year, September, remember the Wall Street Journal had the Democrats
IB, you gotta not talk to us on the speaker or Bluetooth. You gotta actually have the phone and up to your ear and stuff. It's hard to understand you. That's much better. Yes.
Yeah, a lot better. Yeah. Anyway, I will talk about that now. Hey, here's what I'm going to do. Richie said everything I liked, and what if I was the Trump attorney? What I would do is I would corner Cohen. Okay, he went out of character when he mortgaged his place to cover whatever Trump is supposed to pay legally for him to have mortgaged a place without his wife knowing that I was subpoenaing the wife. And I would make him answer that question. That is out of character when it should have went to billing. It should have gone to billing because it would be a normal thing. Why was it abnormal for him to mortgage a place to cover what is supposed to be Trump?
Yeah.
A Trump.
Well, yeah, yes, but I'd like to talk about what's already happened. Okay, and so the witness yesterday was the National Enquirer guy. Okay, David P. I don't want to keep saying his last name, even though you can in that context. Yeah, I know. Perfect. I guess Stormy's going to be next. They just got a great line. But he completely cleared Trump of any wrongdoing. In fact, He testified in front of the jury yesterday that he told Trump that Karen McDougal was looking for a payoff to silence herself on her story, and he said, Donald Trump told me I do not buy stories. So the jury heard that yesterday. That was great. Yes, under penalty. That's right.
It goes into the ledger. That's it.
Yeah.
Okay, so what more do they want to hear? So here's what I wanted to say yesterday. The end game. Okay, of course they don't want him to campaign, but the end game. I'm thinking the superdelegate. Whatever they can get him on, whatever it can be.
All right, you're doing stream of thought stuff. We're trying to be specific. But hey, Abby, appreciate the call. There was another thing, Steve. They asked him about the doorman story, the doorman at Trump Tower who was trying to sell a story to the Inquirer and anybody that would pay for it, that Trump had fathered a child with a Trump Tower maid. And he testified in front of the jury two things about that. He said, one, Donald Trump offered to take a DNA test to show that she was lying. And the National Enquirer hired a private investigator, and he said, our private investigator determined that the story was 100% false. He said if it was true, it would have been the Enquirer's biggest selling issue since the death of Elvis. Right? Remember they had Elvis in the coffin photograph? And it was 100% false. He wanted to run with this story, but he couldn't because it wasn't. Everything fell apart yesterday. Donald Trump told me, I do not buy stories. What else do you, my God. Oh, but it's fun. It's fun to follow because we're doing so well. If it was going the other way, I'm loving it. I'm upset that court's closed on Wednesday. There's no court today. So, we don't get more clearing of Trump. This is great. 2 days, Trump cleared. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, good morning, Brian Lewis from Plantation.
Hey.
Real quick on this guy, I'm not a sports fanatic, but this guy, Stephen, what's his complete name? Stephen, whatever it is.
Stephen A. Smith.
I joined your broadcast when he was going on his rant, and then you showed the about face. Does he do his? I don't see him much on TV. When I do, it's kind of like sporadic. Does he do his commentating on sports that way, where he says one thing and then says, "Hey guys, you took it out of context. I didn't mean the Lakers were the best team. I meant,
Yeah, they obviously. Listen. It sounds like he got a visit with guys that had baseball bats at the middle of the night. That was. What? How do you take out of context when he went on a monologue about it?
I don't know what the visual was with that about face, but I can't wait to see it because it's one of the most pathetic about faces I've heard in a long time. And whoever still believes in this guy, even as a commentator in sports, you need to get a life. Move on to someone else. This guy's a loser.
Well, it's sad. I don't know anything. I know who he is, okay? I don't follow sports. I cannot tell you the name of one player that plays on a professional team in any sport, okay? I don't follow it all, and I'm not interested in it. Steve's not either. Steve's just a gambling addict, so he's got to know but so I don't know anything about Stephen Smith, but I do know this. What he said about blacks and Trump is true. There's been a lot of polling on this, that black people are very upset at the misuse of the justice system to frame up an innocent man because it's been done so many times to blacks. Stephen A. Smith said the truth. A couple days later, he does this hostage video where he apologizes for bombing the peaceful people of North Vietnam, and it's a complete 180. And they obviously threatened his career. That told him, if he didn't, and I don't know if he likes Trump or not, but I do know what he said about blacks and the justice system was true. And for him to retract it that way, he sounded scared.
Yeah, well, the black community of itself can analyze it on their own and make their own determination about what this guy's about. But in the end, real quick before I cut off, the truth test, or one of the truth tests or litmus tests of a man's character is his ability to stand on his word, on what they say, aside from disrespecting somebody intentionally. I don't think he said anything disrespectful. Like you said, he said the truth, and someone had a couple back and said, no, that's not the truth. And
yeah. All right, I appreciate the call. I'll give you an example of where I was involved in the media sitting on a story. Let's take the break on time, and then I'll tell you. When I tell this, you'll remember it, Steve. there was a national story, and I was contacted by a producer of Rachel Maddow. And I gave them, they contacted me. I gave them information, and they sat on the story. At Rachel Maddow show. This was a number of years ago. I'll tell you about it after the break. But first, I want to tell you guys this. Okay, Joe Thomas is offering 2 things to you for free, which is absolutely amazing. One, he's offering free copies of his book, which I've read. It's a great book, The Retirement Know-It-All. You just got to call his office and say you want the free book. He'll send it to you. It's a great book. It's filled with a lot of great material. If you're already retired or you plan on retiring at any point in your life, 10 years from now or 10 minutes from now, you'll want this book. And Joe Thomas is also offering free phone consultations. And you can take advantage of the free book and free phone consultation no matter where you're located in the United States, not just here in South Florida, even though he's based right here in Jupiter. I just want to highlight what you're getting when you get this no-charge phone consultation with Jupiter Joe Thomas. You know, he's been in the retirement planning business for over 30 years. Okay, he's a 5-time qualifying member of the $1 Million Roundtable, which is achieved by less than 1% of all financial advisors in the world. So you're getting a top guy here giving you a free phone consultation. That's pretty amazing. So give him a call, 561-743-0999. 561-743-0999. And if you missed the number, just go to his website, jupiterjoe.com. We'll be right back.
Don't sit on the sidelines. Get in on the action. Call the Steve Kane Show live on air now. 888-GO-KANE-1. This is the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
As someone who was a big Stephen A. Smith fan growing up,
yeah,
he is one of the most flip-floppiest.
Oh, really?
He's not even like someone like threatened him. He literally he's a big Knicks fan, right? So one day he'll be like, "Oh, the Knicks, best team in the league, blah blah." The next day he'd be like, "The Knicks are horrible. What are they doing to me? Blah blah blah."
Maybe the bookies get to him because he's messing up the odds.
Maybe.
Yeah.
He's literally just the biggest throughout all the years. He's never changed. Just the biggest. He's one way, and I swear he has bipolar disorder.
Yeah.
Like one way, and then immediately the
Yeah.
So he's even called out fans like me because the newer generations you don't claim him because he only comes when we're good, when we're doing good. So he's like, you don't understand the struggle that we've been through. I've been on fan for this many years. He calls out everyone else when they call him. So he's just that's just him.
Yeah.
He didn't get. I don't think
It's pretty embarrassing.
And everyone makes fun of him for it.
Yeah. Great.
Fort Lauderdale on 96.9 and anywhere in the world.
All right, we're back. Calls on hold, stand by. I'm Brian. Steve Kane is here, of course. It's Wednesday. So let me tell you this thing, my run-in with Rachel Maddow's show, where they sat on a story because they had an agenda. And they contacted me about this. It involved Joyce Kaufman, and this was 2010, okay? In 2010 is when the Tea Party took over Congress. And Joyce Kaufman was picked by Allen West to be his chief of staff, which was very strange because she has no experience in politics. She's like, a radio person, kind of. And when what had happened was, and Rush talked about, not Joyce, but about in general, when the Tea Party members got elected to Congress, they all picked friends and campaign managers from back home to be their chiefs of staff, and the RNC came in and tried to get them to fire those people and bring in establishment people to be their chiefs of staff so they can control them. And Allen West said, get out of here. Joyce is my chief of staff. Well, Joyce said something that got her in a lot of hot water. A tape of her at a speech was made national news. And the tape was Joyce Kaufman was on a stage, and it was recorded, and this was on national television. And she was campaigning for Allen West at a campaign event and said that if we lose this election, meaning Allen West, and I remember this like it was yesterday, even though it was 2010, if we lose this election, I'm going to go to Kentucky, find some like-minded people that understand there are things worth dying for. Now, that's bad news, okay? And it resulted in a lot of havoc. Remember they had the schools locked down in Broward County? The Broward County schools, all of them, got locked down because of this. And Joyce was in the national news over this, and every school in Broward County, how many schools that is, went under lockdown in relation to what she had said. And this story was being out there because they wanted Allen West to get rid of Joyce. And we got off the air. My cell phone rang about an hour after the show, and this was in 2010. My cell phone rang. It was a producer for Rachel Maddow's show. Can you imagine? And I was wondering, why the hell is this guy calling me? Well, obviously, this is a great illustration of this. And I talked about this on the air many years ago, but haven't mentioned it in a long time because I don't like to remind what that stupid thing Joyce said, because that's just, you don't talk that way. That was stupid. But she learned her lesson, and it was 14 years ago. So everyone that listens to this program knows that Joyce and I have a long-standing feud, okay? She got me fired from a radio station like 30 years ago lying about me, okay? And I've never forgotten about it. But I don't do things to screw people over off the air. I take jabs on the air, and it's just in fun. I don't do anything off the air to screw anybody over. I'm not a backstabber. I am off the air. I get along. You can come here and talk to my guy. I get along with everybody off the air. I do not have any rivalries off the air. If I say something on the air and I bump into Joyce, I give her a hug and say, "How you been doing?" You know what I mean? So Rachel Maddow's producer calls me off the air and is trying to get background dirt on Joyce. Apparently, I guess somebody called them and said, this guy Brian Craig in Florida, he's always taking jabs at Joyce. He hates her. You can get some more background. Because Allen West was standing by her and wouldn't fire her as his chief of staff, right, when the initial story came out and the schools got locked down. So they were doing a phase 2. They came to me for dirt on Joyce, right? And he identified, it's been 14 years, I don't remember his name or anything. And my immediate reaction was, I'm going to help Joyce. I'm not going to tell them anything about Joyce that's negative. I said, I saw, because Rachel Maddow the night before on her primetime show had played this video of Joyce saying, if we lose this election, I'm going to go to Kentucky and do, And I said, that tape you have, that's only part of the tape. You didn't, there's a second part to that. And he said, what? And I said, because I remember when that happened. It was, if I remember correctly, it was on stage on Hillsborough Boulevard. It might have been in the parking lot where the Super Target is next to Century Village. I could be wrong about the location. It's been 14 years. But I remember when it happened, the speech, because Steve and I were supporters of Allen West, too, and helped him get elected. And I said, she was introducing Congressman Allen West. And he came up on stage right after her, took the mic, and said the exact same thing that Joyce said. And I told the producer, I said, nobody knows who Joyce is out of South Florida, but because I knew Allen West would survive the heat. Joyce was in trouble. They were talking about not just getting her fired from the chief of staff, but the radio station was going to let her go too, is what everybody was assuming, because what she said was so out of line. And I'm trying to help Joyce. I knew Allen West wouldn't get in trouble because he'd just been elected to Congress, right? So I said, he said the same thing almost word for word just a second or two later on the same microphone. He started asking me more about Joyce. I said, I don't know anything about Joyce, but I know Allen West said exactly what she said right after she introduced him, making those comments. They never ran with that story. They killed the story. And you know what? They knew it before I told them. They had the whole tape. They didn't want to get rid of Allen West. They wanted to get rid of Joyce. So the part of the story that I shared with Rachel Maddow's producer, they killed that story. It's 14 years ago. It was a private conversation. I could not corroborate that story. I'm sure I don't have a recording of it. I don't remember the guy's name, and I'm sure if he's still around, he's forgotten about me and that. But I did talk about it on the air way back when. So those of you that are longtime listeners have probably heard me tell this story. But the only reason I tell this story is to show you these media people who are telling you on MSNBC right now that killing stories is a crime. They killed that story about Allen West, okay, when I was trying to help Joyce. This is how the media operates. And to all of a sudden make the killing of stories a criminal offense by a third party that's not even involved, in this case, candidate Donald Trump, is insane to me. The entire media are against Trump except this one tabloid, the National Enquirer, and they're criminalized it. Look at the media's reaction to the Hunter Biden laptop. They didn't report, they all covered that, sat on that story, right? The biggest example that I've given a few times is Newsweek killed the story that President Clinton is having a sexual relationship with a 25-year-old White House intern. And the reporters, it was so outrageous, the reporters leaked it to Drudge and made him famous. And now he's a traitor. But, the media kills stories all the time, all day, every day, okay? This is how they operate. They had one outlet they couldn't control, the Enquirer, and they've criminalized Trump support. But they did kill that story about Allen West. And that part of Allen West, I bet you that tape doesn't even exist anymore. They probably destroyed the tape after I highlighted it to the guy off the air. But anyway, yeah. All right, let's take another call or two before we break. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, good morning, guys. It's Lisa in Texas. How you doing?
Hey, Lisa.
Hey, Lisa. Hi. Well, listen, when it comes to all of the trials for Trump, just a couple of thoughts I wanted to share with you. Everything that's done in the dark is going to be brought to light, and that is why so many people are coming to Trump, not just our black population, which, that's what's great is watching so many people, no matter their color, seeing the light. I mean, that's really what's important, right? And they are. And that was fabulous about the Enquirer guy yesterday.
Oh, it was beautiful.
Fabulous sticker. Yeah.
It was beautiful.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Beautiful, beautiful. And my comment on the ESPN guy.
Stephen A. Smith.
Now, here's what used to happen in reputable times in America is the network would have said, his views don't represent ours, and everybody's free to have their own views, and we're going to, keep him employed and stand behind him because he has the freedom to have his own views and they don't represent us. That is what real people would do with integrity, right? They wouldn't be threatening this man with the dismissal and ruining his life and taking that away. Now,
I'll tell you, the last time I saw a broadcaster do a 180 like that and look that scared was when Obama first got elected. Kramer from CNBC gave an interview on the Today Show, and he said that the economy is going to collapse with Obama's economic plan. And it was on the Today Show, and the next day he was on TV. He looked worse than Stephen A. He looked like they had him in a sweat box, beating the crap out of him. Like that hotel in L.A. Confidential where they take the guys out of town and beat them up. It looked like they had beaten him. He came on the next day. He looked like hell. He looked like he was sweaty. He looked terrified. And he retracted all of his very detailed financial analysis of how Obama was going to wreck the American economic system and then apologized for it. And that's what, when we talk about hostage videos, that's what we're talking about.
I mean, really, I'm surprised we didn't see him blinking SOS,
Maybe he was, but he wasn't using Morse, he was using Ebonics. I don't know.
No, it's just terrible. And one other thing I wanted to say is that I called up your guy, William C. Youngerman,
William Youngerman, yes, our gold guy.
And I've decided with my retirement, I'm retiring.
Did you talk to Dave?
Yes, I think it was Dave.
Yep, Dave.
I think that was Dave. And I just retired, you guys. I'm going to not be Lisa from Texas soon. I'll be Lisa from Tennessee.
Okay.
And William is going to work out, I'm going to start investing every week in coins. You don't have to buy something all at once, folks. You can do it bit by bit and just buy a little something every week.
That's awesome.
I'm going to start doing.
I'll tell you, Steve got one of his sons involved in gold when he was a little boy, and he's now the richest guy in the family, isn't he, Steve? He's loaded. I'm not exaggerating. He's loaded. And, the rainbows go to his house because the gold at the end of the rainbow. No, it adds up. It adds up. You buy a little bit a week, next thing you know, you got an ounce of gold in you. Hey, I appreciate it. Lisa, soon to be Lisa from Tennessee, all right? All right, and the way things are going, Tennessee may be the southern border by the time she gets there, unless Trump wins, of course. All right, we're going to take our break and be back.
Making morning radio great again. It's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
I'll be right back, guys. Oh my God. Oh, okay.
Weather brought to you by Palm Beach Patio Furniture. Route 1, Seminole Plaza Shops, North Palm Beach. Palm Beach Patio Furniture. Voted in the best of the best patio store in Palm Beach County.
Hey, how's it going? Hi. No. Not yet. We still got half an hour.
How you been?
Good. Did you have anything specifically you wanted to go with?
No, I just.
Okay.
I think what's important is the economy. A lot of people are just still worried.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
We've been having so many people in because they think if the election goes the other way, it's going to be a problem.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of people preparing, honestly.
Gold, that's
we're getting requests for gold. We're getting requests for, and we don't do gold. And it's just like people just want to make sure their money's safe. And go bankrupt.
Yeah.
In fact, that's an interesting concept. Because I know you have the gold guy.
Yeah.
People are actually buying gold thinking it's going to be the save all. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm not going to talk about that from the thing. Or Bitcoin, and it's like the government controls everything. How are you going to have one thing that's not going to be controlled by the government? You know what I mean?
Oh, and the Bitcoin, the crypto. I mean, how can you? That's a big scam. I don't care what people say. I know it goes up and down. And my daughter, she buys and sells it, and there's been days where she's made $2,000 or $3,000. Then she'll sell it right away. She knows.
Yep.
You know,
you can make money.
you can, but it's.
But then there's people who don't know what they're doing.
You can't hold on to it because it's fake.
Yeah.
It's fake.
One of my friends I play golf with, he goes, "Oh, there's Bob's house." And I go, "Yeah." And he goes, "Yeah, he lost all his money. He had to move out of the country club because he put all his money in Bitcoin."
Oh my gosh!
Lost everything.
Holy smokes!
It happens, man. People think,
Oh my gosh!
that's why you don't buy just one thing. You know.
So your daughter got married?
She's getting married June 1st.
Oh my gosh!
At Trump National.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Oh my gosh, that's expensive.
Well, actually, it wasn't too bad because it's June 1st, so they gave us a discount. But they're amazing what they do.
Really?
Yeah, they're like the best around. The food's gonna be top notch. The service is top notch.
Yeah.
They do a wonderful job.
All right.
Which might come out.
Yeah, that one I'm guessing.
I got slippers on the way too.
Go to mypillow.com and use our promo code.
Yeah, that's the Trump National's the first golf club in Palm Beach that allowed blacks.
Oh, really?
When he took it over, no blacks were allowed to be members of any of the golf clubs in Palm Beach till he bought Trump National.
You know, mention that's very few. I just joined Jupiter Country Club, and it's the cheapest price one around. And one man is black. I said he's like a retired ball player.
Dr. Appleton told me I'm done with golf for a while. I tried too.
Oh, really? I was laughing. Really?
He told me I got to wait a little longer.
Shoulder?
Let it heal more. Yeah. Yeah, my shoulder. Yeah, I had a pretty bad injury. So I got to let it heal a little bit more.
How's your wife?
Good. Yeah, we got our listener cruise on Saturday. We're leaving for a week.
Oh, you're going for a week?
8 days. Nice. Saturday to Sunday.
Hopefully you don't put anybody in the brig. You were telling me that story last time.
That was true.
I know you told me.
It's true.
You know what? This is crazy.
The crazy people.
They're really.
You know how much they had to spend just to go and try to harass us? I mean, you know.
Yeah. I guess they figure it's worth it. I don't know. They're just loaded.
They gave me a good story.
True.
You know.
Yeah. What's the green thing for?
This is tells me the microphone's on.
Oh, okay. Oh, you're doing wireless.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, I'll give you one so they can hear you on YouTube.
Awesome.
You can just hold it, because you're not going to be at that long. You don't have to attach it, just like there. Yeah, it's got a magnet thing. You can talk. You guys will be able to hear Joe Thomas on YouTube.
Cool. I'll clip it on so I don't drop it.
It's a magnet.
Oh, it's a magnet?
It's not a clip. It's a magnet.
Oh, I see.
And
okay.
you put the magnet on the inside of your shirt, and then the other thing on the outside. That's a very strong magnet.
Oh, I see that. Wow.
I mistakenly put on the hood of my car. It was hard to get off, let me tell you.
Really?
I set the mic down on my hood. I was putting stuff together, and I was like, oh, my gosh, what am I going to do?
That's cool. And that's for YouTube, huh? Very cool.
At the Council on Aging of St. Lucie, 2501 Southwest Bayshore Boulevard in Port St. Lucie. We'll see you there.
Now, back to the Steve Kane Show.
All right, we are back. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. Joe Thomas has stopped in, and you were telling me just a horrific story off the air. I don't know if I'm supposed to tell this on the air. All names are anonymous. I don't know. I don't even know who this is. But what I like about annuities is how your money's safe. Nothing's at risk. And you were telling me about someone that you're an acquaintance of that had to leave the golf club because they put their money in cryptocurrency.
Yeah, so I'm playing golf with this guy one day, and he says, "Oh, there's Bob's house." We'll say, not the guy's name, real name.
Yeah.
He says, "There's Bob's house. He had to move out and sell, and he's living up in Port St. Lucie right now because he lost all his money in Bitcoin."
Oh my goodness!
So it's a reality. And that just teaches us a lesson, Brian. You don't want to put all your eggs in one basket in anything. I hear people say, "I had a guy tell me Boeing was the best thing since sliced bread." Well, Boeing's gone down tremendously. You got to be diversified. I mean, it's that simple. Don't put all your eggs in one basket.
Well, I'll tell you, one thing I don't like about this. I own one stock, the Trump stock, and And the stock went down, and then Trump had his company had let the stock exchange know that there's manipulation going on. I guess liberals are buying it and selling it and making it go down. And the stock market and things like that there's so many factors that can manipulate it, whether it's inflation, a war, some activist. But with annuities, your money's not at risk, and that just sounds perfect to me.
Slow and steady, man. That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
It really is. And I got to tell you, right now, there's a lot of people that are concerned about the economy and what happens if Joe Biden gets elected, what happens if Trump gets elected, and people are kind of repositioning things. We were talking off mic how, you want to go back to basics. And that's what the annuities do. They're insurance companies. They don't lose money, Even in the Great Depression, we had this conversation. Not one insurance company that does this kind of thing lost any money. In fact, in the history of America, there's been 3 companies that have had issues. 2 of them got bought out, and 1 actually went down. And they've rechanged this with the National Association of Insurance Commissioners. And each state has an insurance commissioner to make sure that they're doing the right thing, these insurance companies. So you're protected in many ways.
Well, the thing, everything I know about annuities, I've learned from our conversations. But, when you're retired, except in some rare instances, what you got is what you got. And whatever you've put away, whether it's properties, and you sell them, you have money you put in the bank account, whatever you have for the most part because you're not in the workforce anymore. And to me, that seems annuities are perfect for it because you're not risking your nest egg.
Exactly. And it's just about being diversified. We even have annuities that can be more diversified because you've got income, you've got fixed, you've got growth. So it depends on what you're looking for. And I usually, like myself, I have a combination of about 5 different annuities. I have them timed at different times. So you can be diverse within even the diversification of an annuity, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about, I'm not the expert, you're the financial expert. You've been doing this for over 30 years.
Yes.
So you've reached retirement age really while you've been planning people's retirement.
Yeah, the people that are coming in to see me are the same age. I just turned 64 last week, and it's funny, the same age people are coming in. So I've been there and done that, bought the T-shirt, so I can tell them, hey, look, this is what I've done. This is what I'm doing for retirement. This is how I'm going to take my Social Security, which is another big deal. People don't know when to take Social Security. They don't know it's taxable, Brian.
Yeah.
Social Security is taxable, depending on your income. I mean, if you're in a very, very low bracket, yeah. But they don't even know tax rates. So this is what we do. We educate people. Get the book. Get a copy of my book. It's free. Get a consultation with me. It takes 10 minutes to talk to me on the phone. I can tell you if I can help you or not.
Yeah.
And if not, I'm going to steer you in the right direction.
If your book, The Retirement Know-It-All, which is completely free, and if you're listening, I'm going to give you the number in Joe's website in just a minute. You call, they'll send you the book for free. If you're already retired, it's perfect for you. If you plan on retiring at any point in your life, 10 years or 10 minutes from now, this book is perfect for you. And you're also offering free phone consultations.
Exactly.
And so when everyone's situation is different. Me, I know I'm not at retirement age, but I already know I want some extra money here, coming in, so I can, don't have to worry when I'm retired. But maybe that's not what you want. Everyone's situation is different, and after 30 years plus, you've seen every possible scenario, I would imagine.
I've had thousands and thousands of clients over my career, thank God, and we've been blessed. And it's also giving back to the community. I mean, not everybody calls me wants to do business with me. Sometimes they just want information. Sometimes they just want direction. Sometimes they just want to talk. I have many people call me and they say, Joe, I have this problem, I have that problem, I have a daughter-in-law that's doing this and that. How do I get help? And that's the one thing that we do for you.
That's right. Well, listen, Joe's number is 561-743-0999. 561-743-0999. And if you missed the number, just go to his website, JupiterJoe.com. All right, Joe, let's see you when I get back from my cruise.
Have a fun time, Brian.
All right, thanks so much. Wait, don't leave with my microphone.
Oh, yeah, I got your mic on.
That's happened before. All right, our number, 1-888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call. Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
You got it. Be good, Brian.
888-465-2631. Steve, you back with us? All righty. Okay, so some good information. You want to go back to the phones? What do you want to do? Go back to the phones? All right, let's go. You're on the air. That's okay. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brian. Never Temper Steve here.
Oh, I feel so sorry for you.
Don't put your finger on the disconnect button yet. I'm sure it'll be
No.
I wanted to reply to your question. Where's the crime about what you said yesterday? In every case with ending
Oh my goodness. Also, okay, so your response. So your response is there was no crime detailed by the Inquirer guy, but in the future we'll find out about a crime. I thought this was one of the star witnesses. Pathetic. Yes. Yeah. Jeez. Oh.
Every Steve I've ever met are nice guys, you know that. So, in any event, what Pecker did say yesterday, putting the pieces of the puzzle together, which is actually devastating to Trump, because Trump, shooting his mouth off before the trial, said, hey, I just got things put in front of me, the checks, and I sign them, and my people do what they do, the accounts, et cetera, et cetera. Let's keep in mind this is a very small, family-run operation, not 500 people there. And what Pecker said, devastating, I think, as the puzzle, was that he called him a micromanager. He's frugal. He wants to know what his checks going out are paying for. So for Trump to say, hey, I didn't know what was going on.
No, he said, in the transactions with, and then before the end of the call, I'm going to tell you why I feel sorry for you. I mentioned that at the beginning of the call, and I do feel sorry for you because you're a sad guy. Well, no, I'm going to tell you why I feel sorry for you. I care about all our listeners, okay? Even you and all of them, even Liberal Al. What he said financially, there was one financial transaction discussion between the Inquirer guy and Trump. It was about Karen McDougal, the Playboy sex worker. And she was trying to sell a story. And what was Trump's response to the Inquirer guy on that? I said it several times. What was his response about Karen? Oh, okay. Well, yeah. He testified in front of the jury yesterday. President Trump told me, I do not buy stories. That's testimony. Who did he pay? Who did Trump pay? Listen, okay. You know, yesterday, slow down for a second. Slow down for a second. Before I get to that, our cruise on Saturday, I went to the mall yesterday and picked up a pair of shoes, a pair of new shoes. Who do you think paid for those? Well, I'm taking it out of the realm of politics so we can, talk here. I bought a pair of shoes yesterday for the cruise, new shoes. Who do you think paid for them? Well, by your argument, Steve did. Steve pays me. Oh, hold on. Steve pays me. I work for Steve. Okay? Steve pays me. Every month, Steve pays me. By the way, payday's coming up during the cruise, Steve. I can't cash checks. But Steve pays. Maybe I can do a Zelle. I don't know, on the cruise. Steve pays me. So who paid for the shoes? By your argument. Me or Steve? No, not your argument. Respond to my question. Steve pays me. Everything I buy at some connection to Steve. Did I buy my shoes or did Steve buy them? No, it shoots down yours. I mean, by your argument, anything Cohen does, because his money comes from Trump, Trump paid for it. Because he's a lawyer who works for a big rich guy who's worth billions of dollars, who just came up with $175 million in cash. Now we're up against a break, and I got to let you go. It has everything to do. I got to let you go, but before I do, I want to tell you why I feel sorry. I'm going to tell you why I feel sorry for you. Okay? You talked and laid out a case. We're late for the break. Oh, we got a full board, Steve. All right. We'll hold this loser on. Okay. Everybody else on hold. Oh, Okay. Everybody on hold, stand by. Okay. Oh. All right. All right, and it's time to check in with William Youngerman from the offices of William Youngerman Incorporated with the Morning Gold and Precious Metals Report. William Youngerman, good morning.
Good morning. How you doing, Brian?
I'm doing great. I know the metals are doing good by the pep in your voice.
Yeah, metals are doing good. They're giving us a buying opportunity here a little through while they digest some of the nice gains that we've had over the last 30 days. And yesterday we saw gold pull back again to that 23.20 range. Closing at 23.2150 after trading in a range of 22.91 to 23.32. It was down $5.40. Silver gained 13 cents yesterday at $27.26 the ounce. Platinum was down $9 at $909 the ounce, and palladium gained $12 at $1,004. This morning right now, gold unchanged at 23.2150, and silver down 6 cents at $27.20. Overnight, we saw gold trading in the range of $2,311 to $2,331. So at 2,300 may be our new base for gold. We'll have to wait and see. But
Wow.
proves to be yet true, then we've got a great launching pad to see gold pushing new highs in the next 30 days. Silver, as I said, $27.20 the ounce right now, down 6 cents. Platinum down $1 at $908. Base for platinum seems to be still around that $900 number, and palladium down $6 at $998. So,
Wow.
buying time.
Absolutely. I remember the base was 400. Now it's 21. This is crazy times. You know, we got a very nice call from one of our listeners in Texas about you about 20 minutes ago, and she brought up something that I had never considered before. She lives in Texas. She called your office up this week, she told us, and she wants to get involved in the metals, and she's going to set it up where she buys a little bit each week. And I thought that was a pretty smart way so she can build up a portfolio of the metals. I never really thought of people doing that, but that's what she's going to do. And she had a very pleasant experience with you and your staff, she told us. So just wanted to pass that on, William Youngerman.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, it's always nice to hear from our listeners about our great supporters here in the audience. Now, listen, William Youngerman opens up at 10 a.m., and like Lisa in Texas, you can call him 10 a.m. Eastern, just like she did, at 1-800-327-5010. 1-800-327-5010. If you're in town, you can stop right in at 150 East Palmetto Park Road in Boca, on the first floor of the Bank of America building, just east of US 1 Federal Highway on the south side of Palmetto Park Road. And if you missed the address or the phone number, just go to the website, WilliamYoungerman.com. And at WilliamYoungerman.com, you'll find the number and the address. All right, William Youngerman, we will talk tomorrow.
Okay, Brian, thank you very much.
All right, back after this.
We take on the social justice warriors for breakfast. Now the Steve Kane Show is on the air.
All right, and Steve held over Never Trumper Steve. All right, Never Trumper Steve, you're back.
And I sense you won't interrupt me.
Want to keep talking, to keep Trump from making his case and his side, and whatever they've got to do that, they're going to do it. And that's how they've been running the case. And this is all a lot of crap. You know that. I know that. I mean, I appreciate their effort in absence of a real case, because they don't have a real case. It's just, it's a setup. What Trump is saying is exactly what's going on here. That this is a witch hunt, okay? Designed to do one thing, keep Trump talking so he can't participate in his campaign. Do you agree or disagree with that? Yes. Give me a yes
No,
or no.
I disagree.
One state
No, I disagree.
to another.
I disagree because the prosecution puts on their case, however long that's going to be, and then the defense goes. And they can cross-examine. They're going to cross-examine Pecker. They do it. Yeah, when you, and as far as keeping him from campaigning, as far as keeping him from, well, let me see. As far as keeping him from campaigning, he can campaign on Wednesday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Yeah, but Biden, and Biden can campaign 7 days a week. That's fair. Oh, gee.
Even before the case started, was he campaigning 7 days a week? Crazy. He never campaigned 7 days.
Oh, my goodness.
He never campaigned 7 days a week.
You're a good guy with a great name. You're just not very honest.
Yeah, and since
the conspiracy was formed.
The future.
Absolutely. And let me tell you, that's right. And let me tell you, and Steve the caller, not you, Steve, I want to just tell you, since Steve held you over, why I feel sorry for you. And I think when I say this, I think others will feel the same way. Your whole identity, your whole thinking people, your whole identity is wrapped up in your hatred of this great man, Donald Trump, by even calling yourself Never Trumper Steve when you call.
And you call this the MAGA show? I mean, give me a.
This is the longest running radio show in the state of Florida. Steve started this show when Jimmy Carter was president. When this show started, how could we be MAGA? Only.
You say you are.
Yeah, we're MAGA. No, we're MAGA. We're MAGA, but we do more than that. But your whole identity is, you don't hear me calling myself MAGA Brian Craig, MAGA Steve Kane. Your whole identity is wrapped up in being a never Trumper. And that's sad.
Because of the statements you make. The statements you make are for MAGA every time from 6 a.m. to 9.
Excuse me, listen, our phone lines are always open and screenless for anybody to call us out.
Explain to me, because I am in desperate need to know, what part of Make America Great Again do you disapprove?
Great question.
What part of the concept rubs you the wrong way?
The concept is that you, I'm telling you, got to let me try.
Oh.
Before, with no specific fact.
I'm going to let you try,
all right.
but I want
Make
you to
America
answer
great
the
again.
question. I want you to answer the question.
Can I answer it?
Go ahead.
Will you,
Yes.
let me get it? Okay. MAGA is synonymous with, you have to admit, we want Trump again in office for another 4 years.
He's not answering your question, Steve. He's answering another question.
MAGA means you.
No, the question was, Steve asked you a very good question. I wish I'd have thought about it. It's such a simple question, and it's such a perfect question that has you up against the wall. Steve's question was, what part of Make America Great Again do you not approve of? Do you take issue with?
I'm against Trump getting into a position of power again.
That's not Trump. Make America Great Again. What specifically about making this country great again do you oppose?
That is his moniker. It has to do with him. You're not running for president.
What does that mean? What does that mean, his moniker?
Make America Great Again is we.
It's not Make MAGA Great Again. It's Make America, the United States of America, great again.
Well, let me ask you, what do you want to make great again that's not already great? Because your side seems...
Well, I kind of don't like having Islamic terrorist spies in Congress in the squad. I mean, that's one thing. Another issue I have is I don't like the southern border being erased and bringing millions of illegals here and setting them up with retirement plans. I mean, just since you asked.
Trump put the kibosh on changing things at the border. You know that.
Yeah, I know. He shut it down. All right, take care. Thanks for the call. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness, Steve. All right, it is sad. I want to tell people, well, you have to have it to waste it. Before we go back to the phones, I just want to remind you guys that there are huge savings going on at MyPillow.com with our promo code Kane at checkout, K-A-N-E. And remember, when you go to MyPillow.com, not only are you getting great items, great products, going to have the best night's sleep you ever had, when you use our promo code Kane at checkout, K-A-N-E, you're also supporting this program. And if you enjoy this program and support this program, use our promo code Kane at checkout at MyPillow.com. And you're doing just that. Huge spring sale going on right now. Save as much as 80% off some of the most popular MyPillow products. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Calling from Indiana.
Yep.
Yes. What do you think if the judge put Trump in jail? Do you think they would?
No, in fact, yesterday he had an opportunity to put Trump in jail for 30 days, and Bragg and the judge cowered out. They didn't buy him off quite enough yet. Yeah, so no. Yeah, they could have put him in jail for 30 days for violating the gag order, and they both wimped out.
Win the
Yes, I do. Appreciate the call. You're on the air. What's your name? We're sorry to upset. You seem depressed that Trump's not going to jail. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, this is Steve from Chicago.
Hey, Steve, 10 seconds.
Who was the guy?
Having a run on Steve's today.
Yes.
Who was the famous guy that said, "Show me the man, I'll show you the crime"?
I've heard a lot of people say that. Was that Dershowitz? I don't know. Who's the originator of that?
I don't know. I think it was some Soviet guy.
A Soviet guy. That sounds about right. Yeah, communist. Exactly. Show me the man. But you know what? They've been showing us Trump, and they haven't been able to find a crime since 2015. You know? And you could tell we had a lot of liberals who called today. They're all hysterical, like women going through menopause, because the first star witness from the National Enquirer, Mr. David P., I'm not going to continue to say his name. That last guy said it a lot. He liked it. Cleared President Trump again of any wrongdoing. It was President Trump told me, I don't pay for stories. I don't buy stories. And I'll take a DNA test. Sounds pretty good to me. All right, we'll be back tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. It's the Steve Kane Show. Steve Kane's been here. I'm Brian Craig. See you tomorrow morning at 6.
WSFS 104.3 HD3 Miramar. WIRK.
All right, guys, if you're new, make sure you subscribe. And if you're already subbed, like the video. All right? I will see you all later. Thanks for watching.